And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate your patience this morning as we got set and ready to go inside of these beautiful studios that have been all set up to welcome us into a new year in 2024, to have some fun here and do some really cool things and make it interesting. So I get to walk around the studio. You get to see all these things that I get to put up now, all these, I get to expand all the awesome pieces here in the studio. Everything in this studio has meaning. So I really just appreciate everyone who has given to the studio in some way, shape, or form, and all the beautiful memories and positive memories that come from all of these things that are here with us in the studio. So we're going to have some fun here this morning. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Very excited. It's Friday, so we are going to jump right into it with Inside of ModPodspopcorn.com's What's Poppin' with the annoying moment of the week, as we always do to start off a Friday. So the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Carvel DeWitt. Carvel DeWitt, don't let the weather fool you. I know it's sunny out there, so everybody's looking at it going, oh man, the weather's so good, it's so nice, you're going to get some ice cream. And guess what? If it was snowing right now, if it was sleeting right now, if it was 90, if it was 20, if it was 40, that same great flavor is at Carvel DeWitt. So make sure you get your way out to the longest standing Carvel franchise in America, and it's right here in our backyard in central and upstate New York, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. That is Carvel DeWitt, open every single week, every single season. So make sure you go out and see them today. Lead, we'll jump into in just a little while, around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That topic for this week for Lead, the acronym Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. We're going to deliver on the topic today, which is called Celebrating the Real Ones. So, celebrating the real ones. What does that mean? We'll discuss that. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then to start off the second hour, I will be bringing you my top dog of the week. Who am I going to be honoring as the top dog of this week? I'm going to tell you right now, folks, spoiler alert, I have more than one top dog of the week. So we're going to be honoring them in just a little bit here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, both of East Syracuse. So make sure you get out there, and it's the only place I trust with your furry loving friends. So make sure you head out there and show some love to a wonderful place that is a home away from home for your dog, big and small, young and older. So make sure you head out to K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And we're going to round out the show with finally, I've been holding on to this, and I'm finally going to bring it to you here. And that is, I've been Ryan Seacrest in this thing to the best of my ability. I will be bringing you my pick for the Niners versus the Chiefs in this year's NFL title game. So coming up this Sunday, February 11th, everybody gets excited for it. What are the commercials going to be? Some people watch for the commercials. Some people watch for the national anthem. Some people watch for the halftime show. Some people watch for the game itself. Some people watch for all of it. Some people just want to go to somebody's house where they know the food is going to be amazing. Whatever you do on this Sunday, this NFL title game Sunday, make sure it's around people that you enjoy being around, and make sure you bring that positivity, because we all need it. We all need it yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I'm going to finally give you my pick for Chiefs-Niners. I've been holding out on you just so I could do it today, so thank you for your patience. And I'm also going to be creating some really fun prop bets that you can do with your family and friends and significant other and all that good stuff. So excited, very excited for everything we have coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on this Friday edition. Let's get it started with the longest standing segment on the show from the longest standing Carvel franchise in America, the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The Annoying Moment of the Week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so. The Annoying Moment of the Week coming to you proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. But before I get into that, I have to show some love for the Niners fans that I have known for a while here, and wonderful people here. Big time shout out to Phil Carpenter and to Anthony Campbell, my San Francisco 49er fans that have been 49er fans, not because they're in the championship game today. They've been loyal Niner fans. So shout out to Phil. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to my buddy Brandon, who is the only Kansas City Chief. Well, I mean, my big bro Joey, he likes the Chiefs as well. But shout out to Brandon, who's been a Chiefs fan forever and a day. So very excited on this. Greg says, happy Friday. Let's all hit on those Super Bowl squares. Phil said, go Niners. So we will see. Who am I going to pick? That's going to be coming up later on in today's broadcast, a Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. But now we got to do the Annoying Moment of the Week. So, the Annoying Moment of the Week, I was on the phone last night with one of my buddies, and he said, what's the Annoying Moment of the Week going to be? And I was like, bro, you already know. But some people just know. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. I could go to a lot of different places here. I could go to a lot of different places with the Annoying Moment of the Week. Not because life is bad. Life is beautiful. Life is grand. I'm very honored and privileged and happy to have the life that I have. Let me preface by saying that. The Annoying Moment of the Week is an opportunity for me to have some fun with something that I may not be fond of, or something that happened in my life, or something that happened to somebody else, and whatever. My Annoying Moment of the Week for this week, there's a lot, like I said, there's a bunch of different places that I could go to with this. But my Annoying Moment of the Week, I would have to say, is just the fact that people don't always think about others. And I have a few annoying moments of the week, but I'm going to get to this one first. People don't always think about others, right? And one of the things that I can't stand when people say, there's a couple things, but they're connected. When somebody says to you, you have no idea what I've been through. And that might be true, right? You may not know what somebody's been through, but here's my thing. Don't fault somebody because of that. You can't tell somebody you don't know what I've been through and then just walk away. If you want to share what you've been through, you want to share what's going on in your life, then share it. But don't hold people accountable if they don't know what happened to you, right? You don't even know. And when somebody says that they've had a really hard time, right? When they're doing something to you and their response is, all right, yeah, I mean, I might be making your life difficult, but, let me do that because my life is difficult. And I don't believe in paying it forward in a negative way. Whenever I see paying it forward, I always think, oh, that's a good thing. When you pay it forward, you're bringing good to somebody's life. When you pay it forward, you're doing something nice. You're not paying it forward in a negative way, because that to me would be paying it backward. When somebody sends you a message or they tell you to your face that their life is so hard, like nobody else's life is hard, right? Your life is, you got so much going on. And you know what? This is what I realized in life. And I said this last night. Nobody in this world hasn't been through something or going to go through something. We've all been through something or going to go through something. That's just life. We are all challenged in different ways and different things happen, and that's just life. So when somebody tells you, hey, I'm going to do you dirty, right? I'm going to punish you. I'm going to do something negative to you, but let me do it because my life is hard. When my life has been challenging, I've never looked at somebody and said, hey, let me do something. Let me ruin something in your life because my life is hard. Right? And I also kind of connected to this. I don't like when people insinuate that their problems are bigger than yours. That what's going on in their life is more important, that it trumps you, that it takes your place, right? Whatever's going on in my life, Dan, is so big that I don't care what's going on in your life. Or even if I do care what's going on in your life, you need to care about my life more. I don't like this jockeying thing, right? People can't scare me into submission. And number one reason, I believe in God. And what you realize in life is that not everybody's your friend. Not everybody that you share things with is a lockbox. Some of them are very excited for you to tell them what's going on in your life because they could tell everybody else. I know when I was thinking about this yesterday, there was somebody that I really trusted. And so I talked to them about like some tough times in my life. I talked to them about like some things that I had gone through that were really hard for me, things that, people had done or said to me, and I had to kind of, grow through it. And I was around this person, and they were around a bunch of people I didn't know. And we're in a public place, and they just yell out like, oh, you should hear about this guy. You should hear about his life, da-da-da-da-da, and start just saying things. And I went, oh, I thought that this was, between us. Apparently, it's to the whole world. And I caution people to be careful when you're around someone that talks about everybody else. Do not think you have the privilege of not being talked about. If you're around somebody who talks about everybody, just lays into everybody, every time you see them, they're negative about somebody, do not think that your name has not been on their lips when you walk out of the room. Someone who talks about everybody, why do you think they wouldn't talk about you? And here's the other thing. Don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right? I don't do a good job at this, and I have to do better. And like I told you, I'm the same on the air as I am off the air. So I tell you flat out what it is. I'm not good at this, but I'm trying to get better. My grandfather's passed away when I was 6 years old, and I told myself I have to, I learned that life was short when I was a kid. I learned how short and fragile life is. So when you have a fake friend, when you have a bad professional dealing with a partner or your boss or a fellow employee or a business or whatever, when you have a bad dealing or you have a bad friendship or you have a relationship that's not healthy and not good romantically, we tend to just let it get us. When in actuality, focus on the good. Because if you got 10 friends, you might have one or two of those people that within the next 5 to 10 years disappears from your life. And you might have done nothing for that to happen. They just leave. And you can focus on the 2 that left, or you can appreciate the 8 that didn't leave. The 8 that would never leave. And maybe that 8 is 2. Maybe that 2 is 1. Maybe that is 5. But see, I've had friends just walk away. And when I look back on my life, I'm happy they walked away when they did and didn't waste any more time. But I had a really tough time when some people walked away. Some of them took a couple of years for me to really heal because it hurt. And it was confusing and irrational and illogical. And everybody said, well, there's two sides to every story, Dan. And I'm a firm believer in Mitchell Tenpenny's song. There is two sides to every story. One's the lie and one's the truth. And when they say two people can tell a story differently because they're both telling bits of the truth, I have always been the person where I'm going to tell you the truth. Even if I make a mistake, I'm going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Right? My parents raised me to be honest. God raised me to tell the truth, to say what it is in its entirety, even if that makes me look bad. Even if I have to admit, hey, I made a mistake. Right? Even if I have to sit here and I have to admit I was wrong. And I just feel like some of these conversations that you have in life, people approach you like, let me screw you over. Let me do something bad to you. Because you should feel bad for me. And I do feel sad for people. And I do want to see everybody do well. But I will not accept dog poop in a nice gift box because you're going through something. No matter what anybody's going through, nobody should be handing you a box of poop. And it be, to me, the whole, like, my life is so difficult. Good morning, Mom. My life is so difficult. My life is more difficult than yours is. It's not. Or it is. Or it could be. Who cares? See, people talk about all these negative things and they say it's the human condition. I flip the script. And I say, why can't the human condition be a good thing? Why can't the human condition be about empathy? About listening, about understanding, about apologizing? I have lived a life where I've opened up to a lot of people. I've tried to make a lot of friends. And I've been hurt a lot. But I haven't been hurt more than I've been loved. And I will never be hurt more than I've been loved. Because I believe that God is real. So I don't believe that no matter how much I am hurt, it will not tidal wave over the love that I receive. And if that means that I am hurt by 100 and I have 2 left, those 2 will love me. And, you know, so many things in life are about quantity. How many do you have? Where I look at quality, right? You might have 1 sports card, but your grandfather might have gave it to you. And your friend's like, oh, man, I got thousands of cards. I'm so much better than you. I got so much more money than you. I'm so much cooler than you. But every time you look at that card, you remember the day your grandfather bought it for you. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you have 1 or 1,000. It matters that it's significant and it's positive in your life. There was a time where I had 1 business that worked with me, Carvel DeWitt. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? They believed since the beginning. And I look at the business now and it's like, I went, what am I going to do? And then I blinked. And then a ton of years went by. And now we have a wonderful team of people. And Carvel's still there. So what I can say to you is we're all going to go through strife. We're all going to go through tough times. Please do not be the person that says to another person, you have no idea how hard my life is. You have no idea what I've been through, because you have no idea what they've been through. So you can't tell a story and say, you have no idea how hard this is, how difficult this is, what I've been through, because that person might very well know what you've been through because they might have been through something similar. You don't know. And your life is not more important than theirs. It's not. I know that might offend some of your egos today, but your life is not more important than somebody else's life. It's not. Every life is important. And to make a hierarchy is to kind of play God, determining who is more. I'm not saying you don't choose in your life who is more, kind of important to you, like who do I spend more time with, who's positive in my life, who's a better friend, the person that shows up. I'm not saying that those things aren't real. I'm saying the value of a soul is the same across the board. Right? God wants all his kids to come home. Not some of them. He wants all of them to come home. We choose if we want to go, but he doesn't want anybody to not be at the table. Your name tag is already there. Are you going to show up? And so my annoying moment of the week really just has to do with people acting like they're better, they're more important, their problems are bigger. Because we hear that all the time. And we go on social media, you see people jockeying for, I had a tough life. No, my life was tougher. I got beat up and my car stolen. I got beat up and my car stolen and my girlfriend just left me. It's like boom, 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 boom. And and it's like, what is the point of this? Right? Why are we trying to win the suffering battle? Why are we trying to prove our life is more important? So when I have conversations like that, like I did this week, where somebody says to me, my life, my plight, my strife, my problems are more important than your problems, I know that person is going to be very short-lived in my life. Because we don't do that. That doesn't mean I don't pray for you. That doesn't mean I don't want the best for you. It means I don't want your energy in my life. Because if you think that you're more important than me, and your problems and everything are bigger than mine and bigger than this and bigger than that, and I need to suffer so that you can succeed. That's a slippery slope when somebody wants you to be pained so that they can have a good life. People that love you would never ask you to suffer for their own success. And I need you to know that. I need you to understand that. My other annoying moment of the week, I would say, is the booze. The fan base at a home game, this could be anywhere, because I've experienced this. The fan base at a home game, or a home match, or a home meet, or whatever it may be, the fan base at home booing their own coach and their own players. I grew up in Syracuse, New York. I love the Dome. I love the atmosphere. Really don't like the people that boo the Syracuse players in Syracuse and boo the coach in Syracuse. It's ridiculous. I understand everybody's got a right to have an opinion. I get that. But your right to an opinion, I just question, if a team goes on the road, let's take Syracuse. If Syracuse goes to Cameron Indoor and they play up against Duke, they're going to be booed all day. There's going to be Syracuse fans there. There's going to be a lot of Duke fans there, and they're going to get booed all day. If they go to Chapel Hill and play North Carolina, they're going to get booed all day. If they go to Clemson, they're going to get booed all day. If they go to Winston-Salem to face off against Wake Forest, they're going to get booed all day. When they're in Syracuse, they should not be getting booed. And I'm using this as an example because I've experienced a ton in Syracuse. And I look around and I say to myself, like, I was at the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series, and they lost Game 3. And I'm walking out of their Chase Field with my dad, and there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people walking out together. And I didn't hear anybody complain. I didn't hear anybody swear about, like, hatred for the team. They started cheering, "Let's go D-backs." They said, "We figured it out before. We'll figure it out again. It's going to be all right. We got this." They were leaving the stadium in a loss, cheering for their team, and can't wait for tomorrow. And I looked at my dad, and I'm like, ain't that something? I've been in the Dome. Trevor Cooney got booed. Justin Taylor gets booed now. Benny Williams, my lord. Everybody's speaking on his behalf. Benny hasn't said anything publicly, has he? But a lot of people got thoughts. And a lot of fans apparently eat dinner and lunch and breakfast with Benny. They sleep next to Benny. They know everything about Benny. They're inside of his brain. These people don't know anything about Benny. Maybe somebody does, but a lot of people speaking about Benny Williams. A lot of people speaking about Benny Williams, and they've been doing that for years. And he doesn't like it, and you wouldn't like it either, but people do it all the time. And so the booing at home thing, that needs to stop. That is so, it's humiliating, it's embarrassing, and it's debilitating. You can't let it bother you, but at some point, it probably does bother somebody, right? I couldn't imagine. I grew up in Syracuse. I get picked to play with Syracuse. Syracuse recruits me. I go to play Syracuse Orange men's basketball. I go on the court, and I have 3 bad shooting nights. I come home, and I'm here in front of my town, my city, my people, where I grew up, where my parents grew up, where my grandparents grew up, where my great-grandparents grew up. And I come out there, and I'm dribbling the ball, and I hear, boo! And I'm looking around the dome going like, am I getting booed by my own hometown? Ew. And in the world of the transfer portal, if I got booed enough, next year I'm at Missouri. Peace. You know? Joe Girard's coming into the Dome this weekend. Joe's at Clemson. Joe got booed in the Dome. Joe got disrespected. Why is Joe out there? Why is Joe on the team? We don't need no Joe. And I know I saw somebody say, because fans and, you see things here and there. And you hope you're wrong, but sometimes you're not when it comes to this stuff. And I saw a fan that said, I can't wait to go to the game and boo Joe Girard. That's the thing. I want Syracuse to win. I want it to be a good game. I can't wait to go. I feel blessed that I have the money to go. I love that the weather's nice. It's supposed to be like 56. This is great. No. I want to go to the Dome, and I want to boo our former player because I'm a child. It's supposed to be 55 tomorrow. Now it's supposed to potentially rain tomorrow. Sad. It's supposed to be 60 today and sun, though, folks. Enjoy that. It's going back down to the 30s. Ooh. It's going to be nice the next couple days, though. Alan said, Jim Boeheim shut booing down when the Dome booed Danny Shays. Well, it's still there, man. Last year, people were saying, F you, Jim Boeheim, right over my shoulder. And I'm not saying it, but they were. It was not nice. It was not nice. So that's an annoying moment of the week for me. Don't boo Joe Girard when he comes into the Dome. Okay? Don't boo him. Well, Dan, I can do whatever I want. I have freedom of speech. And stop doing that. Stop using freedom of speech as a freedom to do whatever you want to do. Okay? There's consequences to the things that come out of your mouth and the actions that you take, and stop acting like there's not. Dan, I have freedom. People scream freedom of speech. When they flip out on somebody and they say really just absolutely awful things to people, they say, I have freedom of speech. Yes, you do. You're in a country where they won't cut your head off if you say something that the leadership doesn't like. We are very blessed to be in a country, and most of you will never understand this because you'll never go anywhere else, but you live in a country where you can say whatever you want to say without the threat of being murdered by the government, okay? Without being taken in the middle of the night and disappearing. You have a blessing in your life that you were born in a country or came to a country where you don't have to worry about the fact that when you use your free speech and open your mouth, more often than not, you are not going to disappear and show up in some island away from everybody. Okay? People don't understand the privilege because they haven't seen life in other places. Shame on you for that. And if you don't get to see life in other places, shame on you for thinking that every place is the same. So this whole freedom of speech is the freedom for me to say whatever I want. No. And don't scream Don't scream freedom of speech when you say something disgusting, deplorable, and hateful. When you're prejudiced, when you're racist, when you're sexist, when you're attacking, please do not say, well, it's my freedom of speech. Don't do that, okay? You do have the freedom to say what you want. You do. But there are consequences. My dad told me this my whole life. He said, Daniel, you could say and do whatever you want, but there's consequences. There are consequences to your actions, to your words. My mom told me, you better watch what you say. You better watch what you say to people. You better watch how you treat people. Because if you say something to the wrong person, they're going to clock you. My mom told me that my whole life. She said, you better watch what you say. Better watch how you carry yourself. Because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what they've been through. And you don't know if they've had enough. You don't know if they're going to react. They might have not hit the first 5 people that said what you said, but you're number 6 and they're done. My mom told me that. My mom also said you might not be the person to clock somebody, but if somebody treats somebody else like they treated you, the next person that comes behind you, they're probably going to clock them. The reality of life is that just because you have the freedom to do something doesn't mean you have the ignorance to not understand the consequences. I'm going to say it again. Just because you have the freedom to do something does not mean that you also... Just because you have the freedom to do something doesn't mean you get to have the ignorance of not knowing the consequences. You have freedom of speech. And there is a consequence to that freedom. There are rules. There are things that universally are not good. I don't want to have anybody sit here and tell me sexism is good, Dan. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get you to change your mind. I'm going to rewire your brain. That sexism and racism and prejudice, they're okay if you do it the right way. No, they're not okay. They're not okay any way you do it. I've seen people be treated poorly. I've been treated poorly. I've heard people and seen people do things where they don't know their audience. Some people don't know I'm Hispanic. So they say some really hateful things about Hispanics in front of me, and I just sit and I listen. And then they apologize after they find out I'm Hispanic. And I was like, please don't apologize. You meant what you said. You just didn't know the company you were keeping. You know? I've ended friendships on people being hateful. Yeah, they have the right to speak their mind. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there in their ignorance and listen to it. Life is a lot of things. Don't let it be ignorant. Don't let it be naive. And please stop hiding behind, I have the freedom of speech. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But you do not have freedom from the ignorance that can come with some things that come out of your mouth. And in the world that you and I live in, whether it was 100 years ago or right now, this world is not a place where you can be woefully ignorant and think that nothing comes from that. Right? So you're not more important than somebody else. Your life is not more valued to God than somebody else. You don't know what other people have been through. You don't get to attack people and think that there's no repercussions. Think about the things you do. Think about how you act. And think about how you would like somebody to act to you. Because I can tell you that 99.9% of people that hurt people do not want whatever they did or said to somebody, they would never want somebody to do or say to them. I was in a conversation this week where I'm 99.9% sure that if the script was flipped, this person would flip and lose their mind if someone did to them what they were trying to do to somebody else and talking to me about how it was okay that they did that to somebody else. It's not okay to hurt people. It's not okay to be ignorant and naive and not seek to understand. So the next time you get a chance to talk to somebody, do not tell them that they don't understand. Do not tell them that they don't get it, because you have no idea what they understand and what they don't understand. Have the decency to treat somebody with kindness and respect. Most of us want to be treated with kindness and respect. Stop thinking that you can get away in your life doing people dirty and doing things to people you would never want done to you. So many people out there in today's world think, you better never do this to me, but if I do it to you, deal with it. And my response to those people is, whatever you give, understand that you have opened yourself to getting. And that is not me wishing bad on you. That is me telling you. What's the golden rule? Treat others as you want to be treated. So if you treat people like dirt, do not be surprised if that comes back to you. And if you treat people with love and affection and empathy, don't be surprised if that comes back to you. When you put good into the world, you don't have to worry about what's coming down the road. But when you do people dirty, those people have to look over their shoulders. Because when you do people dirty, you're always, whether you admit it or not, wondering what's going to happen. How's it going to come back to me? That's why you don't burn bridges. That's why you make amends. And that's why even if you don't agree with someone, you just move on amicably. I've had people come up to me and tell me that they don't want to fight with me and they don't have any problem with me. And I look at them and I go, you started the fight. You were the problem. What are we talking about? I've never had a problem with you. Ever. Do people think I have time to have a problem with you? I can't sit here in my life and tell you that there's anybody that I have a problem with. I have a problem with things that people do to me and to others because I don't like seeing people hurt. But I can't honestly sit here and tell you, here's a list of people that I don't like that I have a problem with. Because I don't live a life like that. I would rather tell you the list of here are my friends that are actually my friends. Here are the businesses that have stood by me and are actually really good businesses and really good people. Here, here's my beautiful mother and my wonderful father and my absolutely incredible daughter. These are the things I value. Yesterday, I could take nothing from yesterday other than somebody coming up to me and saying, hey, I saw the post about your little sister. That's good, right? They're excited for her future. And then his wife looked at me and said, last thing she said to me, she said, I wish your little sister all the best. And if I don't remember anything else from yesterday, I texted her after that. I said, hey, I was just out doing a show with the West Genesee Wildcats at the Wildcat Sports Pub, and I had a family come up to me and say that they wish my little sister the best. And she hearted it. What else do I need? Right? Focus on the good stuff. Focus on the good stuff. There's so much good stuff. If you woke up today, that's good. Do you know how good that is? Again, privilege. When you wake up every single day, people don't go, hey, let me be thankful that I woke up. They start thinking in their life, what do I have? What do I not have? But you're awake. Did you ever drive by a cemetery? There's thousands of people in that cemetery, hundreds of people in that cemetery that are not awake today on earth. Hopefully they're up in heaven. But you know what I mean. They're not awake. So you are. Celebrate that. That's a good thing. Enjoy it. Enjoy being awake. If somebody does you dirty, move on. If somebody cheats on you, move on. If somebody lies to you, move on. If somebody breaks your trust, move on. If somebody does you dirty in any way, shape, or form, move on. Because I'm going to tell you something about people that do you dirty, people that do you wrong. Yes, people make mistakes. But when somebody does you dirty, there's a thing that I always say to myself. And you got to trust your gut on this one. I can't describe it to you folks because you say, how do I know if I give this person a chance, if I don't give this person a chance? Because you got to give people chances because everybody makes mistakes. Yes, Everybody makes mistakes, but you got to watch their character. Everybody makes mistakes, but do they apologize? Everybody makes mistakes, but do they go out there and show you that they're going to change? Everybody makes mistakes, but not everybody deserves to be back in your life. I think about this all the time. Fool me once, shame on me. Or pardon, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And you say, well, people don't deserve second chances. Of course, people deserve second chances, but it depends, right? If you have a child who murders their brother, do you believe that that child deserves a second chance and just hope that they don't kill their sister? No, you get them out of the house, right? You got to do something with the kid. You can't just have the kid sitting there going like, I hope it doesn't happen again. If you have a dog that bites your kid twice, right? Bites your kid again, and not just a little, I'm playing, but like a bite, like there's a gash. Do you keep that dog in the house and just hope they don't bite him again? Or do you call the CNYSPCA and say, what should I do? Because I believe every animal deserves a life, but it's like, what do we have to do? Is there something this dog was taught? Do we have to temper this dog? Like, what do we need to do? Because this isn't safe for my child, right? It's like if the majority of the time you went on a plane, the door blew off, you wouldn't fly, right? The reason why people are freaking the heck out is because we've seen it happen once. And if it happened once, it could happen twice. And if it happens twice, I hope it's not my plane. But if the majority of the time that you have been on a plane, the door blew off, you would stop flying, right? So you got to pay attention to patterns. Everybody in this world is going to make a mistake. Besides Jesus Christ, everybody's going to make a mistake. Everybody. Even though some of y'all think you're Jesus Christ, you're going to make a mistake. And people should have a second chance. I would challenge you with two things. Number one, you got to understand, not everybody's going to give you a second chance because it depends on what you do. If I get cheated on, you don't get a second chance. Well, because you're God, Dan? No, because I don't want to be around a cheater. And if you cheat, there is a high percentage of cheaters that will cheat again. If you cheat, something broken inside of you, you're not happy inside, and you fill that void on the outside. I've been around cheaters. Cheaters that's bad news bears, baby. That is bad news bears, baby. But if somebody makes a mistake, oh man, I forgot to get the milk at the... If you're married to somebody and they forget the milk at the grocery store, do not divorce them. I shouldn't have to tell you common sense stuff, but in this world I feel like I have to sometimes. Do not divorce somebody for getting the milk at the grocery store. There's a big difference between I made a mistake, I cheated, and I made a mistake, I forgot the milk. You forget the milk, that's okay. You cheated on somebody, you can go back to the grocery store, and before you go, you could take a bag of clothes with you because you ain't coming back to this house. Don't worry about the milk. You can drink it in your car when you sleep in it tonight. So, you're not more important than somebody else. The value of your soul is the same to God. Stop telling people that they don't know what you've been through because A, maybe you didn't tell them, and B, you don't know what they've been through. And stop expecting people to give you second chances when you do something terrible to them. Don't shame people into giving you another chance. I've had so many people try to shame me into it. They do something horrible and they go, Dan, what would Jesus do? You believe in Jesus. What would Jesus do? Would Jesus stay mad at me? Would Jesus give me another chance? And I'm like, I don't think Jesus is happy with what you did. You think Jesus is out here going, cheat, girl, come on now. Get some cheat on. Yeah, that man should forgive you. You were cheating because it was a Wednesday. And it was 2 for 1 at the bar. And you thought, why not? And then you looked around and said, I got one man. Why can't I have 2 for 1 men too? Some things are wrong. They're just wrong all the time. Cheating. All the time. It's wrong. Dan, well, you don't understand my situation. But I understand cheating. So be nice to people, and everything you do has a consequence. So stop acting like it doesn't. Okay? Stop acting like it doesn't. And when you do people dirty, do not ask them for a favor after you do them dirty. Right? The world would be such a better place if people could, first and foremost, not do the wrong thing. But if they do the wrong thing, that they apologize without being provoked, that they apologize on their own, and that they actually have a plan forward. Instead of being like, yeah, I screwed up. What are you going to do about it? Can I have a favor? Right? I went through that. I went through a breakup, got cheated on. You know what that person said to me? Well, can you do this for me? Can you do that? Can you buy this from me? Can you get me this? And I'm going, what world do you live in that you cheat on somebody and you can ask them for a favor? Right? But people know people's hearts. And they know, like, hey, if I get Dan to feel bad enough for me because Dan believes in God and Dan has empathy, he'll help me out. Well, what I have learned is as much as I love and as much as I care, you do not support. As much as you love and as much as you care, I do not endorse people hurting people and then playing on your heartstrings. That's a very sick person. When somebody's like, yeah, I did something dirty, but guess what? My man loves me. My friends got me. My mom puts up with everything. So no matter how bad I am, I know I can get her to feel bad for me and give me something. That's a sick person. And I hope they get help. But I'm focusing on my team and the good ones. And if you ain't on my team, that is totally okay. But if we play you on Saturday, we gonna win. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's time for us to jump into lead. We had a annoying moment of the week that, I mean, that's the thing. And that's the beauty of the show. When you're feeling something, when you got something on your mind, you just let it go, right? You get it out, you share it, you do it. So appreciate your patience here for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Today's topic, celebrate the real ones. What do I mean by that? Well, if you got a real one, you know, right? What do they tell you? Dan, when you get yourself a girl, find yourself a real one. That's what they tell you. Find yourself a real one. When you got a friend, find yourself a real one. Well, what's a real one? Well, like I said, if you got one, you know it. If you have a real one, you know it. The real ones. Celebrate the real ones. The ones that are there for you all the time. They don't need to be asked to be there for you. They show up. You're in the hospital, they're there. You don't even know how they found out, right? How'd you know I was in the hospital today? Man, I just knew. Something about you. I just felt something in the air. Started driving, right? The people that just know. And you don't know how they know, but they just know, right? They know that you need them. They know that something's going on. When we look at life, and I told you this in the annoying moment of the week, when you see what's going on around you, you start to realize who the real ones are. Now, my challenge to you and my challenge to myself is when you realize who the real ones are and you realize who the real ones aren't, are you willing to make the changes in your life to get away from the fake ones and to be around the real ones? Because the real ones are the ones that should have your time, but the fake ones, sometimes, we're going to change them. It's going to be okay. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to fix a fake one and make them a real one. Why you got to do that? Because the real ones are the real ones, and the real ones have been the real ones, and they're the real ones because they've chosen to be. You can't make a fake one into a real one. That's not how life works, right? You can't force somebody to work out. You could be a coach and say, if you don't work out, you're not going to play. You could be somebody that says, if you don't work out, you're not going to be in shape. If you don't work out, you're not going to get this. You can give everybody every logical reason. I've been this. I had this conversation recently. You can give somebody every logical reason to what you're saying. But if they don't want to hear it, they aren't going to hear it. And even if they hear it, they could turn around and tell you everything you said was right. Everything you said was true. But I'm still not going to do it. Stop hanging around the fake ones. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, Deliver. That's the acronym proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Learn. Learn who the real ones are. Learn who the fake ones are. Everybody says they're going to be there. Learn about the ones that actually show up. Learn. Evolve. After you learn who the real ones are and learn who the fake ones are, evolve into getting the fake ones out of your life and hanging on to the real ones. Ad-lib. When things go wrong, know how to respond in the moment. You're not going to be ready when you find out that one of the real ones is actually one of the fake ones. You're not going to be ready. You might be a little bit ready. You might have anticipated, but you're not going to be 100% ready. Some people are going to blindside you. You have to be able to ad-lib. You got to be able to pick up a block that you didn't even know was coming to the best of your ability. And you got to deliver. When you say, I'm done with the fake ones, I'm not doing this with the fake ones, I'm staying away from the fake ones, you got to deliver on that. You got to deliver on that. When you break up with somebody that's not healthy for you, you got to deliver on when they text you at 3 o'clock in the morning, when they call you and say they want to come over, when they just show up at the house and say, can we talk? You have to deliver When you know this isn't healthy, this is not a good relationship for me, you got to deliver on that. You got to deliver. You said no, you got to mean no. It's not no, maybe yes. It's not no, sometimes yes. If it's no, it's no. There's so many songs written about, I know we shouldn't be together, but here we are in the house again. And I'm sitting here going like, I mean, I know that these songs speak to people because we all make mistakes. But I don't want that song to speak to you. I want the song about love and appreciation and affection and fun and laughter and da-da-da-da. I want that to speak to you. I don't want you to hear the song like, I shouldn't open the door, but I opened the door again. I don't want that song to be like, ooh, that's me. Celebrate the real ones. And here's the thing. We don't always appreciate the real ones. The ones that show up every single... What do we say? I want a friend that shows up every single day. I want a friend that can take 5 minutes in a day, 2 minutes in a day, 1 minute in a day to just say, hey, buddy, how are you? But then I ask you this. Are you doing that for them? Are you reaching out to them consistently? You want to have friends in your life that reach out to you, but are you reaching out to them? So many of us want to have people in our lives that always think about us and show that they're thinking about us. But here's my thing. Are you showing them? If they value what you value and they just want to have friends that reach out to them and love them and let them know they care, you're waiting for them to text you. Why don't you text them? My dad told me a long time ago, if you want to hang out with somebody, pick up the phone. Don't wait for somebody to call you. Don't be like, ooh, I really want to hang out with my friend James today. I'm going to sit here and wait and see if he cares about me. He said, you want to hang out with somebody? You pick the phone up. But you also make a mental note that in the last 6 months that I hung out with this friend, I picked the phone up every single time and I set up all of the plans. And so if I don't pick the phone up, what's going to happen? And I've done that in friendships. I said, you know what? Let me not pick the phone up for 2 weeks. I always set up everything. I always beg them to hang out. I'm always trying. I'm always doing. The only reason why we're hanging out with each other is because I asked. So I stopped asking. And some people call you up and say, hey, man, what's up? I haven't heard from you. Some people, the next time you call them, they're like, man, I was thinking about you. I was wondering why I didn't hear from you. And other people, radio silence. You never hear from those people again. Celebrate the real ones. Celebrate the ones that think about you when you're not talking. Think about you when you're not texting. Wonder, hey, I usually talk to this guy every couple days. Where's he at? Where's she at? I usually hear from her. Every Friday we try to catch up for a little while. I hope she's all right. Celebrate the real ones. Don't celebrate the people that don't call you back. Don't celebrate the people that don't text you back. And don't get involved in that. If you got 20 people that text you back and one that doesn't, stop thinking about that. Well, what did I do to da-da-da-da-da? You know what? If you didn't do anything, sleep with a clean heart. What they say, when you go to bed, forgive everybody. I got to do a better job at that. When you go to bed, forgive everybody. Sleep with a clean heart. Wake up with a clean heart. Right? Sleep with clean, wake up with clean. You don't want no dirty heart in your sheets. Clean them sheets when you wake up. Celebrate the real ones. Right? The ones we take for granted. The ones where we're collecting people like toys and saying, all of these action figures, they make me feel important, but these ones don't. So I'm going to focus on getting these ones to care about me, and I'm going to neglect the ones that do care about me because they're here and whatever, and that's fine. And then once these start caring about me, then I'm going to neglect them too, and I'm going to reach and reach. Stop doing that. Stop collecting people like that. You're not going to make a fake one care about you, right? If somebody wants to call you, they're going to call you. This is one of the hardest things for people to understand. If somebody wants to call you, they're going to call you. If somebody wants to text you, they're going to text you. If somebody wants to date you, they're going to talk to you about that. They're going to ask you out. And if they don't want to ask you out, they're going to hint at they want you to ask them out, right? Because there's a lot of people old-fashioned. Women are like, I'm not going to ask a man out. You got to let us know that you're interested, though. As a card-carrying man, if you're a woman and you're interested in a man, you got to let us know. Don't do this like, I left a flower 3 steps from his car. I hope he sees it on the ground, picks it up, remembers it's my favorite, and then asks me out. Don't do that. If you want to date us, just say something, right? You don't have to beg us to go out on a date. But a lot of men, I shouldn't say a lot of men, some men will not ask a woman out because we don't want to be rejected. And we don't know if you're interested. So I had a girl tell me in college, she goes, I had the biggest crush on you. I was like, when? She's like, how did you not know? I was like, why would I know? We didn't have classes together. You never spoke to me. You know, like, yeah, I saw you around campus like 4 times. You said, hey, Dan, what's up? I said, nothing, what's up? And that was it. I was supposed to know that that was a crush? So I tell people, if you want something in your life, you don't have to beg for it, but you gotta put the energy out there, right? If you're interested in somebody, you gotta put that energy out there. And stop expecting people to know that you're interested, because we don't. So, I mean, that's just, stop doing that. Stop having this thought process in your head like, ooh, if I do this, then they'll think this. And you play it all out in your head. And this is what you forget. That's your thoughts. That's not their thoughts. That's how you think. Not everybody thinks the same as you. And even if people think similar to you, nobody thinks exactly the same. Because nobody's exactly the same. Identical twins aren't the same. Did you ever meet identical twins and realize they have totally different personalities? I know I know twins. I've been around, and one of them, super nice. The other one, sometimes she's nice and sometimes you're like, wow, does this girl care about anybody? So the reality of it all is you're never going to make a person that doesn't care. You're never going to make them care. Ever. That's reality. You watch those Lifetime movies where they kidnap somebody, put them in the basement, and it's like, I'm going to make them love me. No, you're not. Because whatever they do is in an attempt to stay alive and get out the house. That's reality. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make somebody work with you. You can't make somebody care about you. You can't make somebody be on time. You can't make somebody get up early. You can't make somebody do anything. You can't. You think you can, but you can't. Right? My parents can come into my room as a kid and go, Daniel, gotta get up. Daniel, gotta get up. Daniel, gotta get up. My mom wanted me to get up at 7 o'clock. It's 7:13. I'm not up yet. She asked me to get up. She told me to get up. But if I don't want to get up, she can't get in my body and get me up. She could tell me you don't get up, no video games later. She could tell me if you don't get up, you're going to be late for school, you're going to get a detention, and you're going to have to stay after. She can tell me all that. She can tell me that there are consequences to my actions, leading back to the annoying moment of the week. But you have to make the choice. So celebrate the real ones. Call those people up today. Go see those people today. Love up on those people today. The real ones. I know the real one. When I say real one, right off the bat, Ross, boom. Isaac, boom. Johnny, boom. Joey, boom. We might not talk every day, but I know that they're there. Rob, boom. Celebrate the real ones. The ones that are always there. The ones that care about you. The ones that make time for you. The ones that you call at 11 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the morning, 12:15 in the afternoon, and they talk to you. They answer the phone. Celebrate those people because they're busy. You're busy, but they make time for you. Celebrate that. And stop trying to get people to love you. Stop trying to get people to care. If they don't care, they don't care. That's how it is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell me. It's hard. It's a tough pill to swallow. But when people don't care about you, they don't care about you. And it might not have anything to do with you. It might not be personal at all. They just don't care. They might not care about anybody but themselves. They might not look like they care about anybody because they're going through a really tough time. They might not look like they care about anybody because they just got, they just had a friendship and something happened bad and now they don't trust anybody. You don't know. It's one of the hardest lessons that my parents still try to teach me today. You don't know what people are going through. and you think it's you because they were mean to you or they were neglectful of you or they didn't return your phone call or they didn't do this or they didn't do that. And I tell people all the time, how do you leave somebody in good standing and come back to them and they're not nice to you? How do you leave somebody in good standing and you come back and they don't answer your call and they don't answer your text message? How do you leave somebody in good standing and then all of a sudden you feel like that bridge is broken when you didn't do anything? The last time you saw him, you gave him a hug. You said, can't wait to see you again. How does anything change? You know what my parents say to me every time that happens? I can't tell you why it happens. I can't tell you why they did it, but everybody's got something going on in their life. Everybody's fighting battles you don't know about. You have no idea what's going on with them, and it's not you. If you did something to them, then you did something to them. If you didn't do something to them, then what are you talking about? And that's that. That's that. You're not going to get somebody to do something they don't want to do. You're just not. And that's okay. But we got to celebrate the real ones. We got to celebrate the ones that if they had 2 legs, now they got 1 leg, they're still coming over. If they're going through this, that, whatever. I have a friend, one of my best friends, one of my closest, dearest friends, that if I had a wedding today, he would be in my wedding party, Jimmer Sikowski, the owner of Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And I'm not saying this because they sponsor the segment. I'm saying this because I love Jimmer. I love Jimmer all the time, every day. He is in a wheelchair, right? No, he's in a chair. He's in an electronic chair. He has been through so much. He makes time for me just like he did before. He makes time for me all the time. That man could say, I'm tired, I'm upset, I'm angry, I don't know why this happened to me, I give up. No. Yeah, Dan, I'll see you at 2 o'clock. Him and his wife and everything they do, when they want to see somebody, they're going to see somebody. Because that's the type of people they are. They're real ones. They make time for the people that they care about. They're going to do that. And no matter what's going on in his life, in her life, the strife and all the pain and all the anxiety and stress that they've gone through with him having ALS, Jimmer always comes through for me. He comes through for me better than I do for him. I can always be better for him. I can always do better. He's a great friend. He is constant. He is on time. He is with it. He's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. And everything he's going through, he makes time. I got friends that are totally healthy. Not a phone call, not a text message, not a response, not a nothing. So you got somebody dealing with all this stuff out of their control, and they've never stopped being the friend that they were before all this stuff. Then you got friends that are totally fine. Right? I mean, like you said, you don't know what anybody's going through. But what I'm saying is, I got somebody that I see out there, they talking, they doing this, they laughing, they having a good time. I go up to them, they won't even look me in the face. Yeah, Dan, sorry, I'm on my phone. And I look at that person and I go to myself, hey, you know what? The next time I come up to talk to you, I'm not gonna. Not because I got grudge, not because I'm a hater, but because I've tried over and over and over again to talk to you, and now I'm seeing you in person to face go, what is going on? And if you can't tell me, then guess what? Until you figure it out, I'm not going to figure it out for you. Have a good life, but I'm not coming up to somebody who doesn't respect me. If you treat me like I don't matter, I ain't coming back. And that's not a grudge. And that's not hate. And that's not an eye for an eye. That's healthy. And the people that love you will tell you that's healthy. Get away from the people that don't appreciate you. That's healthy. The people that don't appreciate you will tell you, oh, you're doing something wrong. Why? Because they don't want to deal with what they did. The people that do you dirty, they're going to tell you that you're wrong all the time. Because what's the alternative? They're wrong. They can't be wrong. They're never wrong. So you got to be wrong. Stay away from that. Stay away from, what does my guy call it here? Chris Bell? Energy consumers. Stay away from energy consumers. Don't be an energy consumer. Be an energy giver. Don't be an energy consumer. Right? Whatever you want to call it. An energy consumer. This just suck the life out the room. Don't do that. I mean, you can, but there's a consequence. I suggest that you don't do that. Celebrate the real ones in your life. Stop making the fake ones prominent in your life. Stop getting somebody who doesn't care about you to stop trying to get somebody that doesn't care about you to care about you. That's ridiculous. It's such a waste of time. You know? You're like, man, why doesn't Sheila care about me? And then your friend's like, well, Jill cares about you. Like, yeah. Whatever, Jill. Jill's always around. Jill's great. But back to Sheila. No, back to Sheila. Peace out, Sheila. Go hang out. With the ones that are there. Celebrate the real. Right? How many stupid conversations, a waste of time did I have with my parents saying, Mom, Dad, look at these people don't care about me. And my parents are sitting across from me probably looking at me going, I love you. I took time out of my day to spend with you. I'm sitting here having lunch with you. Why are you talking to me about people that don't care? I care about you. Celebrate me. Don't celebrate them. Get them out your head. Celebrate the people that... How many times do we complain to the people that are the real ones about the fake ones? You wouldn't believe what this person did to me. Well, you're on the phone with a real one. I was on the phone last night with one of my best friends, my brothers, for 3 hours. 3 hours. We got off the phone to go to bed. 3 hours we were on the phone, laughing, joking, talking about serious stuff, learning things. And I'm on the phone with him going, you wouldn't believe what this person did to me. You know what? Who cares? You're on the phone with a real one. Imagine if somebody said that to you in the middle of a conversation. You're complaining about somebody, a fake one. And they turn around and they go, yeah, well, you're on the phone with a real one. Who cares about this conversation? You're on a phone with a real one right now. You want to appreciate the fact that I'm here? You want to appreciate the fact that you're on the phone with a real one? We're talking about a fake one. I'm a real one. You want to keep talking about this? This real one's going to get off the phone, do something else. We always complain to the true friends, the true family, the true significant other about the fake ones. Stop dealing in the false and start dealing with the true. It sucks when you find out you can't trust somebody. It sucks when you find out that life is not what you thought it was with this person. It sucks when you feel like you wasted your time. It sucks when you just feel like this person is just evil, just mean, just heartless. It sucks when somebody does something wrong and they treat you like you did it. It sucks. But those people are energy consumers. They don't deserve your time. This is what I want you to do next time somebody does you dirty. I want you to step back. I want you to take a deep breath, go like this. This sucks, man. And then I want you to move on. Just go, oh, man, this sucks. It sucks. And that's it. That's the end. Don't call everybody. Don't spend the whole day on it. Don't tell the same story to 3 different people. Just deep breath. It sucks. Wish it didn't happen. It happened. Move on. Because you're going to forget about that person down the road. They're not even going to matter to you. You might drive by their place and go, oh, I wonder what they're up to. That's the end. That's the end. Don't wish bad on them. Don't hope bad on them. Don't wish karma on them. Don't say, I can't wait to see them get what they gave to me. Don't do that. Pray for them. Say, I pray that they don't do this to anybody else, and then move on with your life. You don't have time for karma and negativity and wishing bad on people. Don't do that. God's going to do what God's going to do. I believe good people always succeed, or else I wouldn't be here. And you don't have a right to judge. That person that hurt you, they might be a good person. They might be a bad person. Who knows? But what I do know is is when fake comes to your door, you have every right in your life to say, no, thank you. Just because somebody sends you a gift doesn't mean you have to accept it. And we need to start saying no. Nah, I don't want that, right? Man, no, everybody's busy. All my friends are busy tonight. All the real ones are busy tonight. Mom's busy tonight. Dad's busy tonight. My close friends are busy tonight. Let me call up this fake friend because I don't want to be alone. Nah, scratch that. Be alone. Because that fake one, being around them, it's like sleeping with the enemy. Stay away. And you know who the fake ones are. I'm talking to y'all right now around the world. You know who the fake ones are. Y'all are sitting here right now. You got a name in your head. You're laughing when you're hearing me say this right now. You know that I caught you. You're sitting here thinking about it, smiling, going, how'd Dan know I was thinking about Kim? How did he know that? How did he know I was thinking about Dave? Because we all know the fake ones. And we know the fake ones we keep going back to, hoping that they're going to switch into a real one. They're not. Leave them alone. And celebrate the ones that love you up. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll come back with the top dogs of the week, because I got more than one this week. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognize that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and it is time for our honoring of the top dog of the week, proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding right here in East Syracuse, New York. But I cannot announce the top dog of the week without the help of my daughter, Miss Lily. Top dog of the week coming to you this week. Who is it gonna be? Who will be my top dog? I told you I don't have a top dog. I have top dogs. So who are going to be my top dogs of the week? Well, folks, those top dogs of the week are those that won the NFL awards last night. So my top dogs of the week coming to you on those that emerged victorious in their respective areas here, and very excited for this. I want to first and foremost say congratulations to all the nominees that were up for the awards of MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, so on and so forth. Big time shout out. It was awesome. I got to come home after my event with the wonderful West Genesee boys ice hockey team, 16-3-1. They are the number one seed in Section 3-1. And so in that first division, so you have Section 3, and then you have Section 3-1 and Section 3-2 when we're looking at hockey here in our community. And so West Genesee is going to be the number one seed in Section 3-1, and that's going to be coming up very soon. Getting all that set. They know that they're going to be the number one seed. They're 16-3-1. They've had a state title here. They're trying to do another one this season, trying to get to another one. The families were absolutely fantastic. The student athletes were wonderful. Of course, Frank Calabufo with 500-plus wins. He's always been wonderful. I remember number 400. So very excited for him and for the entire team and the history and the brotherhood of West Genesee boys ice hockey. Big time thanks to all of them. So I do want to shout them out as top dogs as well and give them some honor and give them some love. So many thanks to each and every single one of them, and to the incredible West Genesee community that showed up as amazingly as they always do for my live on-site broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora that happened all throughout the year at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So many thanks to everyone that showed up for that. With that being said, after that event, I came home and then I watched later on because I was doing my event last night and then I was like packing things up and all that good stuff. I came home and later I watched the replay of the awards. And so I got to see some stuff. Like I got to see it in like the re-airing of the broadcast, and then I got to see some of the awards happening in, just watching other shows. I think it was on the NFL Network, recapping it and whatnot. So I do want to give a big time shout out to the award winners. They are my top dogs of the week. And so I do want to give them a shout out where a shout out is due here. And those NFL award winners, and I'm going to start here with the Offensive Player of the Year. So the Offensive Player of the Year, I want to give a big time shout out, and this was the person that I picked for this, Christian McCaffrey, winning the Offensive Player of the Year. Big time shout out to Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year. And seeing what he's done, this is his first full season with the Niners. Last year, he played 11 games with the Niners. He led the NFL in scrimmage yards per game with 126.4, scrimmage touchdowns with 21, rushing yards with 1,459, first downs with 114, and 10-plus yard runs with 44, while playing 10 games. 16 games. I was like, why does that say 10? I was reading it wrong. So playing 16 games. Now, those numbers were enough to get him a Pro Bowl berth, first team AP All-Pro honors, as his name obviously is in a very special company. So McCaffrey boosted his total career games with a rushing and receiving score in the same game to 15, tied with Marshall Faulk for the most in league history. Most games in NFL history where you've had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown within the same game. Now, Christian McCaffrey and Marshall Faulk are the only NFL players to have 15 games of that. He also became the third player in NFL history to have more than 2,000 scrimmage yards in a season for two different franchises, doing it for the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers. Amazing to see this. Big ups to Christian McCaffrey. Once again, led the NFL in scrimmage yards per game with 126.4, scrimmage touchdowns with 21, rushing yards 1,459, first downs with 114, and 10-plus yard runs with 44, playing in 16 games for the San Francisco 49ers in his first full season with the team after being traded during the season last year from the Carolina Panthers. And immediately after he's traded, he's getting in the end zone. And he has a game where he throws a touchdown, scores a touchdown on the ground, and catches a touchdown pass. Absolutely incredible. Christian McCaffrey, I've said, has anybody else in NFL history had a career as strong as he did, have the hype as much as he had, and then have it dip off, and then create it again with another franchise and rise to the top of everything once again? Christian McCaffrey was the number one fantasy football running back a few years ago. And the second year, arguably, he was that again. And then now he's that again this year. And he'll be that this coming season. So pretty awesome here. And a lot of great stuff. And Greg mentioned something here, which I'm going to get to. So my top dogs of the week, I'm honoring and thanking all of these wonderful players that won their awards. Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Shout out to him and the Cleveland Browns. I chose a dark horse. I didn't necessarily think a lot of people were going to go with this, but defensive tackle from the Los Angeles Rams, Kobe Turner. Or pardon me, that was my rookie. That was my defensive rookie of the year. My pardon. The defensive player of the year, I went with Micah Parsons. And I had TJ Watt as a close second. Myles Garrett ends up winning the award. So awesome for him. First NFL Defensive Player of the Year honor ever for Myles Garrett, the defensive end, drafted by the Cleveland Browns and still a Cleveland Brown. He ranked 7th with 14 sacks, but he also had the NFL's best regular season defense. The Browns led the league in defensive efficiency, yards per game allowed, with 267, and 3-and-out rate, 32.9%. He also finished second in pass rush win rate, 30.5%, despite facing the third highest double team rate, 28.8%. So he finished second in the country in pass rush win rate, despite having the third highest double team rate, which is crazy that they're even taking those stats, right? The rate of times a player's double teamed is crazy. Back in the day, it was like, growing up, it was like this is how many sacks they had. This is how many interceptions they had. This is how many tackles for a loss they had. Now they have how many times was this defensive player double teamed. Crazy. The Browns won 4 in a row late in the year and went into the playoffs as well. Obviously, this is not supposed to have anything to do with the playoffs. It has to do with the regular season. But Myles Garrett, although he was not my pick, and not any offense to him whatsoever. You got to pick somebody, which means that there's 4 that you don't end up picking. I picked Micah Parsons, and I think I also got to see Micah Parsons more. And when it comes down to it, Myles Garrett, I'm so happy for him. I think it's wonderful that he won. Anybody who wins these things, it's incredible. And I had picked Myles Garrett because to me, Myles Garrett was just in a place, or not Myles Garrett. I picked up Micah Parsons because to me, Micah Parsons, he's an animal. And then TJ Watt, I said I can argue this year, last year, the year before. I mean, I could say TJ Watt for how many years now, should win this thing. So hopefully he will. But Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns, a fantastic team and a defense that, definitely flew under the radar with me. And a shout out to them for the work that they've done. Offensive Rookie of the Year, C.J. Stroud. This is who I picked. I had a close second to Puka Nacua. I went with CJ. CJ ends up winning this. CJ had himself a terrific rookie season that ended with the Houston Texans getting a postseason berth. And even though this award is not supposed to count the postseason, I think you should count if the team makes the postseason because that has to do with the regular season efficiency. So good job to CJ Stroud and him winning that one. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Will Anderson Jr., defensive end of the Houston Texans. When I first looked at this list, I thought this was an easy pick. But like I said, I picked Kobe Turner, looking at his numbers and the fact that I just, you see this guy was picked 3rd, this guy was picked 5th, this guy was picked, there was 3 guys in this finalist of 5 that were picked in the top 10 of the 2023 NFL Draft. And Kobe Turner led all rookies with 9 sacks, and he was drafted in the 3rd round. So when you look at all these finalists, you say, here's first-round guys. So there's an expectation that they're going to be able to help right away. This guy's a 3rd-round pick in the 2nd day of the NFL Draft, and he showed up on this list. So to me, it was like he did more with less hype, arguably. So that's why I picked him. But Will Anderson Jr., I'm not surprised. The Houston Texans last night sent wide receiver Andre Johnson into the Hall of Fame and won Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. And how about that for their draft? They drafted C.J. Stroud 2nd, and they traded with the Arizona Cardinals to draft Will Anderson Jr. 3rd. And both of those guys won Rookie of the Year. So the Houston Texans outright won the Rookie of the Year award with their offense and defensive players. Will Anderson Jr. taking a look at what he's done here. He said he wanted to set a standard that they were there to, quote-unquote, change the culture. When he came to the Texans, he wanted to set a standard that the rookies were there to change the culture. And he recorded a sack in week 1 in his first game ever played in the NFL. Now, looking at this, the number 3 pick ranked 3rd in pass rush win rate with 25.8%. He also, on the run game, he was 6th in run stop win rate, 36%, among defensive ends with at least 400 snaps this season. So he was 6th among all defensive ends that had at least 400 snaps this season in run stop win rate with a 36% win rate. He had 7 sacks this season, which is a couple behind Kobe Turner that I mentioned, 10 tackles for a loss, and 22 quarterback hits, despite having an ankle injury that took him out for 2 games. So Arguably, maybe he could have had more sacks than Kobe Turner. We don't know because he was out for those 2 games. But congratulations to Will Anderson Jr. I got a bunch of his rookie cards. So, and I got C.J. Stroud's as well. So good stuff here, right? Because, you watch these, when you get into the hobby and you start like buying, selling, and trading cards and going out to shows and whatnot, you're like, oh, okay, this guy won an award. So, that might actually, so I have a Will Anderson Origins rookie card. Maybe it was $5. Maybe this morning it's 8. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 12. So, that's cool stuff to look at too. And definitely am very excited for Will Anderson Jr. Comeback Player of the Year. I told you it was between 2 people, Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco came right off the couch, like Justin Pugh, Syracuse alum, who went back into the NFL to be on the offensive line for the Giants. Justin Pugh comes off the couch. Joe Flacco comes off the couch. Baker Mayfield, to me, slightly edged Joe Flacco because he was a comeback player who did it all season long. And I don't fault Joe Flacco for this personally. I just looked at it like Baker's the comeback player of the year because look at what he did all season long and they made the playoffs, where Joe Flacco came in and he didn't have to go an entire run of a full season to get in. He did an incredible job. And like I said, I don't fault him for when he came in. It's not his fault, right? That's when they called him. That's when he came in. But he was immediately impactful, and he came off the couch. So it's hard to say no to Joe Flacco. I gave Baker the slight edge because Baker did it for an entire season. Baker was the quarterback the entire season. Joe Flacco, at one point it was Deshaun Watson, P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So, to me, and also just, Cleveland's defense doing what they did, as we talked about before, in their success. So I'm not taking anything away personally from Joe Flacco. I backed Joe Flacco when he came into the NFL. I backed him and Mark Sanchez, and they both went to AFC Championship opportunities, right? I mean, they both went to the postseason, I should say. So, they were immediately impactful, and those were the quarterbacks I backed in that group, in that class. And so I'm a fan of Joe Flacco. I'm not happy that Joe Flacco, unceremoniously leaves Baltimore and just kind of, dies off. But seeing what he did with the Cleveland Browns, it's fantastic. I'm not surprised at all that he won Comeback Player of the Year. Like I said, Baker, his career was seemingly close to being over, and he went an entire season coming into Tampa for the first time after spending time last year with the Rams. And so I gave him a little bit more, but I'm not surprised that Joe Flacco won. I think it's beautiful. So very excited for Joe Flacco and what he did. And they say here he's 39. Last night I think they said he was 38. But, around the same age as me here. 2 weeks later, guys, we take a look at this. Became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for more than 250 yards and multiple touchdowns in his first 5 games with a new team. I'm going to say that again. Joe Flacco, coming off the couch, became the first quarterback in NFL history. First quarterback in NFL history. First quarterback in NFL history to throw for more than 250 yards and multiple touchdowns in his first 5 games with a new team. Over those 5 starts, Flacco also led the NFL with 1,616 passing yards right off the couch. Cleveland won 4 games in a row to get its first playoff appearance since 2020. So, very deserving of this. We're not saying he's not. I just gave a little bit more of an edge to Baker Mayfield. I think they both had a case. So we did the Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. We did the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. We gave you the Comeback Player of the Year. And then, that's all, folks. We had that come up from Lamar Jackson. That's how he finished his MVP speech, by saying, "That's all, folks." He thanks God first and foremost, which I always appreciate hearing. And a big-time shout-out to Lamar. So that Lamar card that I had, that I traded to Murph in a big-time deal, that Murph traded at the Philly show at Fishtown Card Show last weekend, I still miss you, Lamar. I do. I miss that card. Because It's just a cool card. And because I'm a fan, I remember I was like, I got this card because I like it. It's cool. I love the patch. And I'm a fan of Lamar. And I backed Lamar when he came into the NFL. I've interviewed him. I covered him at Louisville. Covered, Bobby Petrino, his head coach. I think I was with them both when they were both at ACC kickoff. So, always happy for Lamar. Doing good things. And getting the MVP, not surprised here. Very excited for this. Now, he's won the MVP award for the second time. He becomes only the fifth player to win multiple MVP awards in his first 6 seasons in the league. I'm going to say that again. He has won 2 NFL MVPs. He is only the fifth player in NFL history to win more than one MVP award in his first 6 seasons in the NFL. The other NFL players that won more than one MVP award in their first 6 seasons in the NFL, Jim Brown, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, and Patty Mahomes. Retired and up in heaven, Jim Brown, God bless to you and your loved ones, and may you always be connected through God, because dying you destroyed our death and rising you restored our life, Lord. So may our loved ones that have passed on always be with us here on earth until we get to see them again in heaven someday. May they always be with us through you. Amen. In Jesus' name. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries and then came in his first 6 seasons in the NFL, had at least 2 MVPs. Crazy. Brett Favre, the jersey that my grandmother and my mom got and gave it to me, and as soon as they handed it to me, they still had their hands on it, and they pulled it back, and they say, we got to go back to the store. I can't believe we bought a jersey that spelled his name wrong, because everybody thought it was F-A-R-V-E, because that's how you say it. You say Favre, but it's spelled Favre. So, Brett Favre, who had multiple, and the only other active player that has ever had more than one NFL MVP award in his first 6 seasons in the league that's still in the league is Patty Mahomes. So of the list of guys that had more than one NFL MVP award in their first 6 seasons in the NFL, Jim Brown, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre retired. The only other ones now to have multiple MVP awards in the NFL in their first 6 seasons, Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, the guy that I said was going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and I heard a ton of crickets, and now people, I love him. He's great. You realize how many fans people get when they do good? But when I backed Lamar, I felt like I was backing him with like maybe one other person in America. Just silent. It was like, hey, if you want to back Lamar, that's your choice. And I was like, yeah, I'm not worried about Lamar. Lamar Jackson wins his second MVP award in his first 6 seasons in the NFL. He led the Ravens to an NFL best of 32 franchises, 13-4 record. He ranked in the top 10 this season in total quarterback rating, 64.7%, yards per pass attempt with 8, and touchdown to interception ratio, 3.4. He also led the NFL in yards per rush, 5.5, not just among quarterbacks, among every player in the NFL. He led the league, every running back, every quarterback, everybody in yards per rush with 5.5. But think about this. They say he's a runner, not a passer, but look at this. He ranked in the top 10 this season in yards per pass attempt with 8. So he was the top 10, 32 NFL franchises. He was in the top 10 in yards per pass attempt, and he led the league amongst all players, including every running back in the NFL, in yards per carry with 5.5. I guess he can pass and throw. He knew that. I knew that. His family knew that. God knew that. Now you know that. He also had 3,000. Some of you knew it. Some of you back Lamar. I wish you would have said something to me, though. I felt like I was out here by myself, and that's okay, because I don't make decisions based on how many people agree with me. I make decisions based on what I believe in. 3,678 passing yards for Lamar, and he also had 821 rushing yards. He's the only player to produce over 3,000 passing and 800 rushing yards multiple times. Winning MVP in both seasons, he accomplished that, 2019-20 and 2023-24. The only NFL player to have over 3,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards multiple times in his career. And he won the MVP both times. So, just so you know, in 2024-25, if Lamar passes for 3,000 or more yards and has 800 or more rushing yards, there's a chance he could be the NFL MVP for a third time since he's 2-0 when he's gotten those numbers. Big time awesome. Brock Purdy was also up for the award. Very excited about what Brock Purdy's going to be doing here. And Patty Mahomes, excited to see what he's going to do in this opportunity for these two teams to fight against each other once again when San Francisco takes on Kansas City in the Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years. I'll be giving my pick momentarily. Coach of the Year, I picked in mine. My pick for Coach of the Year was, for me, it was almost D'Amico Ryans. And it was tough. It was really tough. I voted for Dan Campbell here on the show, and D'Amico was a close second. But it was no offense to Stefanski. I mean, for goodness sakes. The Cleveland Browns made the post. And I said this, has there ever been another team? I don't know of any other team in the NFL, but y'all can tell me. Has there ever been another team in the NFL that had at least 4 different quarterbacks play in a game in that season and they made the playoffs that year? Because the other teams that played 4 quarterbacks this year, they didn't go anywhere. Minnesota playing all different types of quarterbacks, they didn't make the playoffs. You look at the teams that had, I want to look at this right now because I had a list. Okay. The Jets had, didn't they have 4? So the Jets had multiple quarterbacks this season, at least 3, if not 4. Let's think. They had Zach Wilson, they had Aaron Rodgers, they had Tim Boyle. I think they did have 4 this year. They didn't make the playoffs, playing 3 to 4 quarterbacks. Cleveland did. I'm going down the line here and just looking at some of these teams. They didn't. They did not. The Giants, they played at least 3. They didn't make the playoffs. I think that was the list that I had in Minnesota. So I said Minnesota. So Minnesota, the Jets, and the Giants had to play 3 to 4 quarterbacks, didn't make the playoffs. Cleveland Browns played 4 quarterbacks, made the postseason. Nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So I can totally understand Kevin Stefanski winning this award. Just looking at even that one thing, you got like the NFL's top defense and you got 4 quarterbacks and you're going to the postseason. Absolutely insane. They've made the postseason just 3 times since they came back to the NFL in 1999. 2 of those came with Stefanski as head coach. 2020, he was named Coach of the Year. 2023-24, he was named Coach of the Year. So in since 1999, so if you think about that right now, what is it right now? It's 2024. So since 1999, we look at this and say, in the last 24 years since returning to the NFL, the Cleveland Browns in 24 years since coming back in 99 have only made the playoffs 3 times. And 2 of those 3 times in the last 24 years, Stefanski was the head coach. And the last time they did it, he won Coach of the Year, and they did it again, and he won Coach of the Year. So if they make the playoffs next year, we'll see. So they went through a lot this season, right? Except all the stuff with their quarterback. They also lost their starting running back, Nick Chubb. They became the first team since 1987, to start 5 different quarterbacks in a season. I thought they had 4. They started 5 this season. It's insanity. I'm trying to think of who the 5th one was. They had Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They had Deshaun Watson. They had Joe Flacco, P.J. Walker. I'm sitting here trying to figure out who the other guy was that they started. Let's see. Oh, Jeff Driscoll. Jeff Driscoll start? I don't remember Jeff Driscoll starting. Let me see here. Let's look at the game log. Oh, no. He had the game against Cincinnati. So, January 7th, 31-14 loss on the road at Cincinnati. Okay. So, they had 5 different quarterbacks. So, of teams that started at least 3 different quarterbacks this season, nobody made the playoffs in the NFL except for the Cleveland Browns. When I went through that list with you and told you what was up here. That the Jets, the Giants, the Minnesota Vikings, at least 3 different starters at quarterback, didn't make the postseason. The Cleveland Browns had 4, I said. They had 5, my correction, and they made the postseason. 5 different quarterbacks, lose your starting running back, and you make the playoffs. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of anything when it comes to the NFL. Absolutely nuts. The Browns set a franchise record with a winning score in the final 2 minutes of regulation on 5 occasions. How about that? The Cleveland Browns were the first team since 1987 to start 5 different quarterbacks in a season. I was 2 years old when that happened, by the way. And the Browns also set a franchise record for Cleveland with a winning score in the final 2 minutes of regulation on 5 different occasions this season. You play 17 regular season games. In 5 of those, almost a third of the games they played in, they had a winning score in the final 2 minutes. It's nuts. So, I mean, Stefanski, when I read all that off to you, it should be no surprise that he won. Like I said, I gave a little edge to Dan Campbell first time that, I mean, this team, my goodness, winning the division, doing everything they did this season, and you're not supposed to put postseason into it, so I can't sit here and say that they won their first playoff game in 31 years, but they did. But I think Dan Campbell, D'Amico Ryans, my goodness, who would have thunk that the Houston Texans would win offensive and defensive rookie of the year and be in the playoffs this season? So, big time shout out to all the work that's been done there. Absolutely incredible. Kevin Stefanski. Got to give it up to Stefanski. And just really, really moved by that. But D'Amico Ryans was my second. Dan Campbell was my first. It was really hard to choose between the two of them. Stefanski wins, and it makes sense. So, I mean, you look at this and you say, okay, I got some of these right in predictions. I got some of them wrong. But when you're looking at the talent and you're looking at the numbers, I feel like you can understand why somebody would go one way and not the other way. Because it's hard. It's very hard. That's why it's supposed to be hard, because these finalists are really good. Incredible. Shout out to everybody in the NFL, though. Shout out to everybody that's chasing your dreams, because it ain't easy. And just because you didn't win an award doesn't mean you're not chasing your dreams and catching them. So keep chasing after them. I hope you catch them every day, and I hope you run and catch another one today. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and I have spent my time all week making y'all wait for my pick. I'm going to give it, along with prop bets, right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They are the sports card shop, in my opinion, for you to go to. They are worth the drive if you're coming from out of town. If you're coming into town and you just got out of the bus station, they're like, no, 6 minutes from the bus station. So if you come off the bus station, the train station, they're less than 10 minutes from that in Syracuse on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. If you're coming out of the airport, they're 10 minutes from there as well. So make sure wherever you're coming from, if you're in the community or you're traveling through central New York, that you make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. My sports card shop of choice. I was in there yesterday. I'm going to be doing a pack break today. I bought 2 Panini Prism packs. Wish me the best, because I'm excited, and I can't believe I didn't open them last night. It's only because it was later and I was tired. So I'm excited to open those. I might do those right after the show today. So definitely looking forward to that. Follow us on all of our social media channels, as well as youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. We do breaks all the time with GG Cards and Breaks all throughout the year. It's called Same Hobby, New Memories. We always have a great time with that. I appreciate you all so very much for everyone that's gone in there. Let them know that DT sent you. When you walk in, you can say, I heard about it on Wake Up Call. Or you can say, hey, DT sent me over. You can do that with GG Cards and Breaks and all of our partners. GG Cards and Breaks, packs, boxes, singles, graded cards, so many great things. Literally, I asked a couple days ago on Tuesday if they had something. They said we don't. Yesterday on Thursday, they had it in. That's how quick things change at GG Cards and Breaks. You got to get in there. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 to 5. I look forward to seeing you over at GG Cards and Breaks. And for our monthly trade nights with GG Cards and Breaks, thanks for making history with us in our last trade night that we just did in January at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So big time shout out to GG's. Head over there all throughout the week on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Same hobby, new memories. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I thank you for being here with us. I got to give another shout out to all my top dogs of the week. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Big time shout out to all the winners of the NFL awards. And also a big time shout out to Syracuse Orange football alum, who I just got to interview for the first time ever, and I'm so very honored for the opportunity. Thanks to Syracuse University, the athletic department, the football program, and a big time thanks to this gentleman more than anything else. Thank you, Dwight Freeney, for spending some time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, and the opportunity after I shut the camera off to shake your hand and tell you how much I appreciate you, and how I'm so grateful that I got to finally meet him and that he got to celebrate that moment with his family. So big time thanks to Dwight Freeney for his time here in Syracuse. Very happy I got to meet him, shake his hand, and be around him. That means a lot to me. And it made last night even feel more personal and special to me when I saw him up on the stage, to be like, I just met him. I got to talk to him. Like, you know what I mean? Again, when you talk about GG Cards and Breaks and all this, I collect cards. You get a Dwight Freeney card in a pack, and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, that's one of the Syracuse guys. So you put it off to the side, and you keep it, and you hold on to it. And then you hear about him, and you watch him in games, and you get programs that has his picture in it. And you think about Dwight Freeney all throughout your life. You're like, oh man, I'm so excited that he got to play for Syracuse. I loved watching him. Then he comes back to Syracuse. I get to interview him in the same year's span time that he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, because coming off of this season, he gets inducted. So very excited for him. Very excited for the entire class. Andre Johnson, that's also really cool for me, watching him. And, you know, being a big fan of Andre Johnson, even though I'm a Jaguars fan, love talent is talent, man. And just a big-time fan of Houston Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson. Always was rooting for him. Kind of realized that just just now, like, I was always rooting for him. Devin Hester, he got in two. We had a late great who gets into the class here, who was honored by his wife coming up on the stage, and so that was really cool. I want to take a look at here, and I do want to honor them as the top dogs of the week as the incoming class. So Patrick Willis, linebacker of the San Francisco 49ers from 2007 to 2014. Dwight Freeney, as I mentioned, defensive end, Carolina Panthers from 2002 to 9 and 2017-18. Chicago Bears 2010 to 2013. Green Bay Packers for 2014 to 26. Why does it say that? Hold on one second. There's something, it doesn't say the Indianapolis Colts on here. They have an induction thing that I'm looking at right now, and it doesn't say the Colts. That makes absolutely no sense, because Dwight Freeney, these are not his teams at all. I have no idea who put this thing together. This is on the NFL's website. It's on NFL.com. They have Dwight Freeney with all of the wrong teams. I was like, he didn't play for any of these teams while I'm talking about it. He played with the Colts. He played with the Colts, the San Diego Chargers, Arizona, Atlanta, and Seattle. Okay. Well, he's on this sheet with something else. Randy Grandishar, linebacker for the Denver Broncos from 74 to 83. That's very strange. Devin Hester, punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears from 2006 to 13. The Atlanta Falcons from 14 to 15. The Ravens in 16. And the Seahawks also in 16. Andre Johnson, who I mentioned, wide receiver for the Houston Texans 2003 to 2014. Colts 2015. Titans in 2016. He played for every team in the AFC South except for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Steve McMichael, defensive tackle for the New England Patriots, 1980, Chicago Bears 81 to 93, and Green Bay Packers in 94. Julius Peppers, defensive end for the Carolina Panthers. This is what they did. They doubled on the NFL site. They accidentally put Julius Peppers. They must have copied and pasted it. Julius Peppers and Dwight Freeney. Carolina Panthers for Julius Peppers from 2002 to 9, 2017-18. Chicago Bears 2010-13. Green Bay Packers 2014 to 2016. So congratulations to everybody. Steve McMichael, God bless you. And God bless Randy Grandisher, the senior inductees here. And a God bless to Patrick Willis, Julius Peppers, Andre Johnson, Devin Hester, and Syracuse Orange alum Dwight Freeney. Big time ups to all of them. And to the Walter Payton Award, Man of the Year Award, going to Cam Hayward. I'm going to be saying more about Cam next week. I want to give him his time separately here. But a big time shout out. I don't know if any of y'all watched the speech, but you need to go back and watch his speech. Big time shout out to Cam Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a congratulations on just the life that he lives, and the tribute to his dad, and God bless his dad up in heaven. And like I said before, may all our loved ones that have passed on be in heaven. And by the grace of God, because Jesus died for our sins so that we could live, may those that have passed away be living in heaven, and may they always be with us and us with them, even through death, even in the unthinkable, the unimaginable, the impossible. May we still be with our loved ones that have passed on through God in some way, shape, or form, and the beautiful, beautiful grace and love and care of God until we get to see them again in heaven. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I pray that for the Hayward family, for sure. And Cam Hayward's father that I mentioned here, folks, Craig Hayward, I'm pretty confident I have Craig Hayward cards if I go back and I look at everything. So definitely want to send the family love. And God bless you, Craig. Seems like you raised a heck of a kid in Cam. And I know there's a family beyond that, so God bless the whole family. God bless y'all in heaven. God bless you here on earth. And may y'all be connected through the great, good, merciful Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless. So, with that being said, those are my top dogs of the week. Cam Hayward's a part of it, but I'm going to take some more time with him next week, just so y'all know. So that all being stated here on the show today, you're saying, all right, Dan, it's past 11 o'clock. You have milked this thing to the end. Who is your Super Bowl pick? And I'll tell you right after. Just kidding. I'm going to tell you right now. So, I gave you statistics yesterday. Ross and I talked about stuff. Papa Joe brought up about a lot of people, and when Papa Joe brought it up, I went in and told you the stats. The 2017 draft class is going to be well represented in this year's Super Bowl. They're going to be well represented in this year's Super Bowl. I mean, we take a look at this right now. By the way, so how about this? Myles Garrett was the number one pick to the Cleveland Browns. He just won Defensive Player of the Year, right? We go down the list. The 8th pick in 2017, Christian McCaffrey, he just won Offensive Player of the Year. So the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, both from the 2017 draft class, Christian McCaffrey playing in the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes, the 10th pick of the 2017 draft class, playing in the Super Bowl. We go down the line here. Evan Ingram's also from that class. Shout out to Evan Ingram. TJ Watt for the Steelers was drafted 30th overall in the 2017 draft class, and he was my guy that was really close there in my thoughts for Defensive Player of the Year this season. And as we go down the line and look at some of these names, I'm just looking at the names that came through here. Cooper Kupp was in this class. Alvin Kamara was in this class. They were both in the 3rd round. They were drafted. This is. I mean, it's interesting when you go back and you look at draft classes because you forget and things like start to run together. And once somebody's in the NFL, you just kind of like think of them in the NFL. Who was drafted in the 5th round? 146th overall pick from the San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle, 2017 draft. He's also in the Super Bowl. I said this yesterday. I said George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Patty Mahomes were all drafted in 2017, and they're all in this year's Super Bowl. George Kittle's numbers are nuts. Travis Kelce was drafted in 2013, by the way. George Kittle's numbers are nuts. Travis Kelce's numbers are nuts. But let's talk about the 2017 draft class. Kittle's numbers, astronomical. Christian McCaffrey led in a bunch of categories this year, and I mentioned that. Patrick Mahomes, dude's a beast. I said if he wins his 2nd Super Bowl, which he did, I said if he wins his 2nd Super Bowl, he's on pace, after 2 Super Bowls so young in his career, he's on pace to be the greatest quarterback ever, to pass Tom Brady. So I could be sitting here today having been alive to see Dan Marino, Brett Favre, Troy Aikman, Steve Young, the end of Joe Montana's career, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, now Patty Mahomes. I'm very spoiled. I grew up at a time when the NBA featured Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues, Tim Hardaway, Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal. I've been very spoiled. And I thank God for that. It's been awesome. So, my pick for this one. Well, these teams have been grand. San Francisco 49ers had to come back from almost a 20-point deficit, down 24-7 in the NFC Championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs have had to lean on their defense playing in games where Pat Mahomes is sitting and watching the majority of the end of the game. That's happened multiple times in recent weeks. Kansas City hasn't been as offensive during the season. They've been more defense. Guys are dropping balls. It's like, who's going to be the receiver? Is it all on Kelsey? Pacheco stepped up. Rashee Rice, cover SMU. Rashee Rice has stepped the heck up. Travis Kelsey's doing his thing. Isaiah Pacheco, I was waiting for his next breakout game. He had one. George Kittle, back healthy. San Francisco 49ers during COVID, they were the team that it was like, can they even field a roster? Getting 53 players for San Francisco, you'd look at the list and go, of all the guys out with COVID or because of potential contact with someone who had COVID or an injury, so many times during that season, I was like, how does this team even play? And that was 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. 4 seasons ago. Just 4 seasons ago. I think about Brock Purdy, and I jokingly said it was his 16th birthday and he's going to go to a Super Bowl before he goes to prom. I'm not knocking Brock Purdy. I was making a joke that he has a baby face. I was trying to say this man, he's timeless. If this is what his face looks like now and he ages like this, then, he's good for his skin and good for his life and good for his genes. Brock Purdy, I jokingly said happy 16th birthday, but it was with no disrespect whatsoever. I have said multiple times to stop calling people irrelevant because it's rude. And it's like, it's not a kind name. It's like making the last pick of the draft a joke. But Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. Brock Purdy was drafted the last pick in the 2022 NFL draft. I think it was 262. And in the 7th round. So, you see how people are like, whoa, Bryce Young, this guy. And who's the 1st round? Who's the 2nd round? But look at it. Kenny Pickett lost his starting job. Desmond Ridder lost his starting job. Bryce Young, my goodness, that team was the worst team in the NFL. And listen, you got to give him time too. I wasn't a fan of Bryce Young coming out. I wasn't a fan of any quarterback coming out last year. I said nobody wows me. And I think C.J. Stroud, I do. Some people might have said, there might have been somebody out there, I'm sure there was, that when I said, hey, Lamar Jackson's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, I'm sure there was somebody out there that said, I'm pretty sure, I can't be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that somebody probably said, hey, C.J. Stroud's going to be good. But think about it. Ohio State quarterbacks weren't translating to the NFL for how many years now? They were just shifting positions. They were becoming wide receivers. They were third-string quarterbacks. And CJ came in and just did a heck of an effort. Right? So when you see this season in the NFL and you see the Chiefs have to lean on their defense when it's like a lot of times it felt like the Chiefs didn't have any defense. And then you look at San Francisco and you're like, they came in ranked the number 1 defense. And if they're healthy, which they haven't been, what can they bring to the table and all this stuff. And now we're setting the table with 2 teams that are playing each other for the 2nd time in 5 years in the NFL's title game. And again, folks, this is really, really hard to do. I want people to think about this for a second because this is not a normal thing, right? It's not a normal thing to make it to a Super Bowl. It's not a normal thing to make it to back-to-back Super Bowls. It's not a normal thing to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It's not a normal thing to make it to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. You make your 2nd Super Bowl in 5 years, and there's teams that have never made it to a Super Bowl. My Jacksonville Jaguars. So, the Detroit Lions have never made it to the Super Bowl because the Detroit Lions won the 1957 NFL championship, which was not the Super Bowl. It was the NFL championship at the time. So there's a lot of franchises that haven't experienced going once, and people talk about the Chiefs and the Chiefs dynasty, and I brought up a bunch of things about it yesterday, but we also have to have the conversation that San Francisco is not that bad under Kyle Shanahan. They're not that bad with Brock Purdy. They're not that bad with CMC. They're not that bad with Debo. They're not that bad with Brandon Ayuk. They're not that bad with Nick Bosa, and so on and so forth. Patrick Willis, congratulations to him. His alma mater, right? His team in the NFL is in the Super Bowl, and he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. So there's a lot of these pieces with San Francisco that I want people to really pay attention to, because the focus is going to be on Kansas City, right? Here are my things before we get into the prop bets. This is my pick. Brock Purdy is a guy going into the draft. When I looked at his numbers and I said, I thought to myself, okay, this guy should get drafted. And then when he got drafted last, I was like, how the heck does this guy get drafted at the end of the draft? He's not a bad quarterback. Now, if you want to know what numbers were in his collegiate side of things, Dan, what did he look like in college stats? Well, I'm happy to tell you. Brock Purdy was an Iowa State quarterback in the Big 12. Brock Purdy in 2018 as a freshman, he threw for 2,250 yards, 66.4 completion percentage, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His sophomore season, second season as quarterback of Iowa State in 2019, he had a 65.7% completion percentage, 3,982 yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His third season, 66.6% completion percentage, 2,750 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His last season, 2021, in college, 3,188 yards, 71.7% completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. You know what I learned from this? His completion percentage never dipped below 65.7%. His completion percentage grew by over 5% from his sophomore season to his senior season. He never had double-digit interceptions in a single season in college, including when he played his first season. He had 81 touchdowns to 33 interceptions in 4 years. And that he never had under 2,200 yards, and in 3 or 4 seasons outside of his first season in college, he never threw for less than 2,750 yards. When you look at the numbers for Brock Purdy, you don't sit here and go, oh yeah, that's a guy that you pick with the last pick of the draft. So I was surprised. But look at what he's done. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. People say that all the time. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. It doesn't matter what people think of you, it matters what you believe in yourself. You think if Brock Purdy really thought he was irrelevant, that he would even be playing right now? If he really thought that he was Mr. Irrelevant, which is why I cannot stand this name, but if he really thought that he was irrelevant, he wouldn't try. If he really thought he was irrelevant, he wouldn't work hard. If he really thought he was irrelevant, he would not be where he is right now. Because irrelevancy does not breed what he is doing. There is nothing irrelevant about making it to a Super Bowl. Right? We can talk about all these fantastic quarterbacks in the history of the NFL that never won a Super Bowl, never made it to a Super Bowl. And here we are looking at Brock Purdy in his second season in the NFL, and he's in the Super Bowl. And then on the other side, Patty Mahomes. Mr. I go to the Super Bowl all the time. So, Pat Mahomes was David. Tom Brady was Goliath. Now Pat Mahomes is Goliath. Tom Brady is retired, and people want somebody else to play David. So now Brock Purdy's David. And that's where we are right now. That's how the NFL changes. They love you when you're coming up. And it's not just the NFL, it's sports in general. They love you when you're coming up. They love you when you're the underdog. But when you start winning, then they're like, oh man. You remember, back in the day, UConn women's basketball, they were an underdog at one point. Kentucky was an underdog at one point. Duke was an underdog at one point. The Clemson Tigers football program was an underdog at one point. And people forget about that, right? Alabama wasn't the best team in college football every year since the beginning of time. So, and what are they going to be now without their fearless leader, Nick Saban? So, when you look at this and you look at how the NFL's changed and how sports in general change from David becomes Goliath. It would be easy to pick the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs are, they're that pick where you're like, how are they going to lose? They got Taylor Swift. They got all this promotion. They got all these people behind them. Right? How could they lose? San Francisco, anybody that played Kansas City was the underdog. It didn't matter who it was. Could have been a rematch with the Eagles. They're still the underdog. Because it's Kansas City. But people forget how bad Kansas City used to be. People forget Kansas City having a 2-14 season. But that happened. The Patriots were awful. They were awful. for a while. But people don't remember that. You don't remember back in 2008 the Kansas City Chiefs went 2-14? You don't remember back in 2012 the Kansas City Chiefs went 2-14? Think back to that, folks. There was 2 times in the 21st century where the Chiefs went 2-14. There was a time where in a 3-year span the Chiefs went 4-12, 2-14, and 4-12. They won cumulatively 10 games in 3 seasons and lost in that same span of time in 3 seasons, lost 38 games. They went 10-38 in 3 years. The last 2-14 season was 2012. Pat Mahomes didn't become the starter until 2018. People forget about that with the Chiefs. The Chiefs were not good. They got good. The Patriots weren't good. They got good. I want to look at the Patriots before Bill Belichick, just for argument's sake and what we're talking about here. The Patriots before Bill Belichick. You know who their head coach was? Pete Carroll. Remember that guy? Coached Seattle for the last 14 years. You know what Pete Carroll's records were? Let's go back here. Pete Carroll was 10-6, 6-10, 11-5, 10-6. Not bad. 9-7, 8-8. Belichick's first season with the Patriots, 2000, he was 5-11. The next year, they won the Super Bowl. You go back here in some time here. Bill Parcells was 5-11. Dick McPherson, the former head coach of the Syracuse Orange, he was the head coach. Before Bill Belichick, he was the head coach of the Patriots for 2 seasons. Coach Mack went 6-10 and 2-14. Before him, Coach Rust in 1990 went 1-15 with the Patriots. Rod Rust. 1-15 with the Patriots. So, folks, at one point in every child, the Patriots were, the Chiefs were, but you forget about it because now you're mad at the Chiefs. You love the Chiefs. There's a lot of non-Chiefs fans that were cheering on the Chiefs these last few years. And this year, maybe a little bit last year, definitely this year, people are like, I'm done. I'm sick of the Chiefs. So like, all right, Dan, you've given us a whole week of stuff. You started with Murph in Pennsylvania. You came all the way to now. You told us you were going to make your pick. You're still talking about the game. So who you got, Dan? Who you picking? Well, again, it's easy to pick the Chiefs. If you wanted me to tell you which team is going to get the call at the end of the game, I would say the Chiefs. The more favorable call, the Chiefs. The one that's got all like the, got the Taylor Swift side and all that like hoopla, the Chiefs. The team that always seems to just find a way, the Chiefs. A team that got through this season leaning on their defense when their offense wasn't functioning well. Who else did that? Tom Brady with the Bucs and the Patriots. Now Pat Mahomes is doing that. Now the offense is waking up and nobody can stop Kelsey still. Been in the league since 2013. Nobody can stop the guy. He's pretty darn good. First ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. So more tight ends and fullbacks in the Hall of Fame. Let's go. So I think it's easy to pick Kansas City because, like I said, if it's a call, it's going to go Kansas City's way, I feel. If, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're going to be more likely to get the call. They're going to have the late game heroics. They're never going to be out of game. You can't count them out. It's so easy to pick the Chiefs. And nobody would fault me for picking the Chiefs. It's a safe bet. Because they're now Goliath. But you know me and David. I've lived most of my life being treated like David. Going and looking at God and going, well, David won, so you and I are going to win. And when I don't have the faith, God is there. When I got the faith, God is there. And God says to me, next time you're going to have the faith so we don't have no problems. And I got to give him that because I haven't always given that to him. So I'm going to have faith. I don't have a dog in the race in this one. But I'm going to have faith. And I'm going to pick David. Brock Purdy. CMC. Man's a freaking beast. This team. I want to shout out, and I know I've shouted out a bunch of 49ers, but, you know, we shout out the usual suspects. And I want to shout out the 49ers in general here as we step into this game. I want to shout out Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, who's stepped up big and had moments, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Conley, who could win a Super Bowl after being a Jaguar, and I interviewed him there. And I thought that when there wasn't a leader in that Jaguars locker room, he should be one because he was a guy that talking to him and hearing him, it just felt like to me the way he spoke and how he spoke and what he said. There's just certain people that when they speak, you just feel leadership. You just sense it. I feel that with Chad Muma now in the Jaguars locker room. I feel that with Foye Oluokun. And, you know, I felt that with Mercedes Lewis in the past. I feel it to an extent with Cam Robinson. I definitely feel it with Trevor. But I got to give some credit to Chris Conley. Happy for him, man, that he's playing in a Super Bowl. George Kittle. Got to shout out Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford. Colton McKivitz. If not for your offensive line, you got nothing. And then you got to thank the Washington Commanders for giving you Chase Young, with Nick Bosa, Randy Gregory, Eric Armstead, Kevin Givens, Javon Hargraves, Oren Burks, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Diamador Lenore, Charvarius Ward, Jair Brown, Tayshaun Gibson. You got to give love where love is due, man. You got to give love where love is due. All day, every day. It's about everybody, right? It's about everybody. It's not just about one. And I'm going to mention this guy because he played for Jacksonville for a bunch of seasons. Tayshaun Gibson in the secondary for the San Francisco 49ers. Getting an opportunity to potentially win a Super Bowl. Look at these former Jaguars doing their thing. So proud. So proud. Brandon Allen, backup quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got a chance to win a Super Bowl. That's crazy. Jadon Mickens, Leonard Fournette, Blaine Gabbert, all former Jaguars, won Super Bowls with the Bucs. Now these guys got an opportunity to do it with the San Francisco 49ers. Shout out to them. Shout out to Jake Moody. Shout out to Mitch Wisnowski. Shout out to Ray McLeod III, who I covered in college, who was at Clemson. Shout out to Tabor Pepper. The whole coaching staff, Kyle Shanahan and everybody. Big time shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. We talk about the Chiefs. And it would be easy to pick the Chiefs. It's easy to pick Taylor. It's easy to pick the feel good. It's easy to pick Goliath. But Phil Carpenter, Anthony Campbell, my Bay Area proud, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. And my score is 31. And I'm really thinking about this one. It's 31 because that was the number that popped in my head, like, I think at the beginning of the week. So it's 31 for the San Francisco 49ers. It's 31. Now I'm trying to figure out my math because there's another number in my head. And I'm thinking to myself, how can this number happen? So let's see. So if they do it that way, let's see here. So if they go for a 2-point conversion, and then they get a touchdown, and then they get a field goal, and then they get another field goal, I don't know if I can have that score. Let's see here. If they go for a 2-point conversion, then they get a touchdown, then they get a field goal. No, I don't think that number's going to work. Okay. So my final score, here we go. San Francisco 49ers 31, Kansas City Chiefs 29. 49ers run it out. They prevent a field goal. Something like that. It's going to there's going to be an opportunity for Kansas City to win on a field goal, and it's not going to happen. So Kansas City going to do something going to happen. 31-29 San Francisco. I know Phil feels good this morning. Phil, what's your score? I want to hear Phil's score. Because Phil's a long time San Francisco fan. But I'm going 31-29 San Francisco over Kansas City. So let's get into these prop bets really quick here, folks. Throw some prop bets at you. So here are my ideas for some prop bets. I know Greg threw a bunch at me. If you got any, throw them at me. But here's some I'm going to throw at you. Here are the prop bets that I'm going to throw at you. And I am going to get these set here. I got some ideas. I have some thoughts on some prop bets that we can do that could be fun for you and the family and fun for everybody involved, because, you know, that's what we should be doing. You should be out there having fun, enjoying this. And so many people watch the Super Bowl, whether or not they watch the NFL, whether or not they watch a bunch of games. There's so many people that are going to watch this game and are going to, you know, be a part of this because they want to watch the festivities and all that good stuff. So let's have some fun with some prop bets. Here we go. So here's some prop bet ideas for you. I'm going to write them down right now, and I'm going to keep them with me on Sunday. And we're going to circle back on my social media, on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. So here's some prop bets for you. So we got prop bets for the Super Bowl for the 2023-24 season. Okay, so here are my prop bets. Prop bet on, will there be a Deadpool 3 trailer? I say yes. Will Deadpool mention Taylor Swift in a commercial or a promo? In a promo or a commercial? I say yes. Will there be, see, I'm doing my Marvel stuff first. Will there be a Daredevil Born Again preview during the Super Bowl? Preview, trailer, teaser, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say yes. Will there be a Doritos commercial? That's a yes. What else here? Okay, I just thought about this one. Will Christopher Walken, these are all prop bets that I'm making up literally in the moment. I wanted to make these up during the show. I want to have some fun with this. Phil said 24-21 Niners, CMC with 2 touchdowns. All right, man. Yeah, I think CMC, his final score might be the difference in the game. He might do something to prevent that field goal from happening. He might get a big run and do something, be able to run out the clock. I think CMC could be one of him, like him running the ball in this game could help to condense the game. I just feel like it's going to be 31-29. Like I feel like the Chiefs are going to be able to win by a point, but it's not going to happen. And hey, if CMC can run the ball, I think he's going to be dangerous. I think 2 touchdowns is not out of the question. So these are prop bets I'm creating in the moment. Feel free to join in with me if you got one. Will Christopher Walken, I'm just doing things that are coming to me. Well, because I think it's more fun. Well, Christopher, it forces me to be creative on the spot, which is what everything I do is all about and my show is all about. Will Christopher Walken be in a Super Bowl commercial? I'm going to say yes. I've said yes to all of these. So, what else do we got? Will there be, since there always seems to be, will there be a Transformers commercial? Like of an upcoming Transformer, anything. Like, will there be something with the Transformers? I'm going to say yes, because there always seems to be. What else can we put here? Will Jessica Simpson, because remember, before Taylor Swift was in the box, Jessica Simpson was in the box for Tony Romo. Will Jessica Simpson appear in a Super Bowl commercial? And I think she will. I think she's going to show up and she's going to go, "Did you forget about you?" She's going to go, "Forget about me?" Because she was the one before Taylor Swift that they would cut to in a game and go, Tony Romo's dating a pop star. And so people forget about that, and some people didn't experience it because they're younger. But before Taylor Swift, there was the Jessica Simpson, Tony Romo, and Romo being blamed for losing the playoff game because he went on a trip with Jessica Simpson to Mexico, I believe, before the game. So I think it was during the bye week that they had in the first round. Will Jessica Simpson appear in a Super Bowl commercial? I say yes. What else do I want to throw out here? Will Usher reprise the song Yeah by having Luda and Lil Jon? I don't know if he will. Right now, my gut's telling me no. My heart is saying yes. My heart is saying please. I'm going to say that he's not going to have Ludacris and Lil Jon appear. I want him to. I'm going to say he won't. It's been a big letdown in these last few years when like somebody comes out as the halftime show and they start doing their act and they're singing, and as soon as you hear the song, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the song that Rihanna did with Kanye, and Kanye doesn't come out. Oh, this is the song she did with Jay-Z. Jay-Z doesn't come out. Oh, that's the song they did with Eminem. Oh, Eminem doesn't come out. Oh, that's the song she did with Drake. Oh, Drake doesn't come out. And you're like, what the heck, man? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do songs at the halftime show, and you do songs that people know someone's featured on, you should probably not do those songs unless you're going to bring those people out as a special guest. Because as soon as we hear them, we're like, oh, Drake's coming out. And then when Drake doesn't come out, it's a letdown. So I was like, if Rihanna kept to like her songs where she didn't have like these certain people like featured and whatnot, then I don't think anybody would have cared. I wouldn't have cared. But I care when she does the song and they're not there. And then you're like, what the heck? So I'm going to create a couple more here. But these are the ones that I have right now. For those of you that just started tuning in, the prop bets I'm creating in the moment, I wanted to do them instantaneously and force myself to be creative on live video and radio. Will there be a Deadpool 3 trailer? I said yes. Will Deadpool mention Taylor Swift in a promo or commercial? I said yes. Will there be a Daredevil Born Again preview or trailer? I said yes. That's for the TV show. Then I said, will there be a Doritos commercial? Yes. Will Christopher Walken be in a Super Bowl commercial? I said yes. Will there be a Transformers commercial? I said yes. Will Jessica Simpson appear in a Super Bowl commercial? I said yes. Will Usher reprise Yeah by having Luda and Lil Jon come out during the halftime show? I said no, but I want it to be a yes. What else can I do? Ursha, baby. So, how about this one? What song will Usher open with? What song will Usher open with? There's a million here. This isn't a yes or no. I think Usher's going to open with... I think he's going to open with Oh My God. I think he's going to open with OMG. And I'm not trying to take the Lord's name in vain. I'm just reading the song here. I think he's going to open with Oh My God. I think he's going to do that one. I think he's going to do OMG. So that's the one I'm going to pick. What else can we do here? We've answered some other ones. Like, will Taylor... How about this? Will Taylor Swift be shown during the national anthem? Yes. I'm going to pick yes. I'm trying to think of some other ones here. I'm trying to think of like upcoming movies and whatnot. Upcoming movies. Oh, they could do that one. Say word, say word. They could do that one. Okay. That's one I didn't even think about. The Joker's movie's coming out soon, isn't it? Looking at this here. I think it comes out this year. The second Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. Yeah, because I feel like it's Lady Gaga. That's some high profile right there. Yeah, I'm going to say that. So, will the new Joker movie have a trailer during the Super Bowl? I'm going to say yes. So that's a bunch of prop bets for you folks. It's a bunch of fun here. A lot of things here. We could do some sports ones as well. There was some I got asked yesterday, but we could do some sports ones. We can do will CMC... okay, we'll do an over-under. So we'll do over-under CMC 1 touchdown. I'm going to say over because I think he's going to have 2. We can do over under. What do you think here? Oh, I could do this one. I want to do this one. Pat Mahomes has at least one rushing and 1 passing touchdown. I'm going to say yes, that he'll have at least 1 passing and 1 rushing touchdown. What else do I have? George Kittle. Let's do a George Kittle anytime touchdown. I'm going to say that he will. I'm going to say Travis over under Travis Kelce 1 touchdown. I'm going to say over because I think he has 2. I think Kelce has 2 touchdowns. I think CMC has 2 touchdowns. And I'm going to say, I want to do like a dark horse one. Like who's the guy that's going to show up that people don't like? Because every Super Bowl has like that one guy make a play that's not a household name yet, right? Or maybe he's like becoming a household name. So who's going to be that one player who's going to like make that big play offensively for San Francisco. I'm going to say I'm going to say that the dark horse catalyst play for offense, for San Francisco's offense, I'm going to say Chris Conley. Or Kyle Juszczyk. And then I'm going to say the dark horse play. Let's see here. Dark horse catalyst play. Play for Kansas City's offense. Because there's always that dark horse. There's always that one where you're like, you didn't expect it, right? Because the ball is supposed to go to Kittle. It's supposed to go to Ayuk. It's supposed to go to CMC. So there's always got to be that catalyst in the title game. There's somebody that steps it up. So let's see here. For Kansas City, who am I going to pick? For Kansas City, well, they brought a guy back here. He's not a household name yet, so I could say this. I'm going to say Justin Watson, who's had some moments, or a guy that they brought back onto the team, Mecole Hardman. I think it might be Mecole. If I had to pick today, I'd say Mecole, and I'd say Kyle Juszczyk. Who's going to be that dark horse catalyst for San Fran? Juszczyk or Conley, I would say. And the dark horse catalyst for Kansas City's offense, I would say Mecole Hardman. And Justin Watson, I would also put some thought into. So those are my prop bets created in the moment on Wake Up Call because I wanted to do that. I wanted the creativity to be happening live on the show. So thanks for joining me for that. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Under promise, over deliver. We've gone till noon pretty much every day this week. I think our earliest might have been 11:42. So we thank you for being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Sorry for the there. That's not something I like to do. YouTube.com and Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. You can catch it all on WakeUpCallDT.com's website. You can search for us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart Radio, as well as iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure when you do that, whenever you find us on any one of these channels, that you like it, you subscribe to it, you follow us, whatever you got to do on each of these channels to make sure you connect with it so you don't miss a moment of any of our shows that go up there. Just on Podbean alone, there's over 1,600 episodes of Wake Up Call, spanning over a decade's time. You can visit our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Carvel DeWitt, where I have my own Sunday called the DT Dolphin, 7 days a week on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York, in honor of the Lemoyne Dolphins. The Wildcat Sports Pub, where I was last night and where I am all throughout the year with the West Genesee Wildcats sports programs. Always love my time with them and with all the families. Big time shout out to West Genesee Boys Ice Hockey and our awesome show last night. And a congratulations again to Frank Calabufo and his 500-plus wins, to the entire team, to our two seniors, Jesse DeSena, as well as Dylan Collier, who are in their final run with the Wildcats. And I hope that it leads them to wonderful pastures, and to the leading scorer on the team and someone who's a junior who has some more time, Jonah Vormwald. Big time shout out to him, as well as all of the student athletes, all of the parents and guardians, and of course all of the assistant coaches that have helped Frank Calabufo have every bit of success that he's had up to this day. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Don't wait till the last minute for Valentine's Day. Get those sweet and savory treats right now at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. GG Cards and Breaks, you know what it's about. It is my sports card shop of choice. I've been there a couple times this week. Love all their stuff. They always bring in new things. And literally, like I said, I asked them if they had something on Tuesday. They said no. They had it yesterday. So when you go into GG Cards and Breaks, you never know what you're going to find, and you never know what you're going to find tomorrow. So make sure that in the hobby that has been the same for so many years, which is simply collecting cards with your friends and your family members and your significant others and making memories, those memories, same hobby, new memories. So that hobby we've loved for so many decades, go and make a new memory in it today, or make your first memory at GG Cards and Breaks. PB&J's Lunchbox, a different taste, a different flavor, a different way on traditional favorites that have been so good for so many years at PB&J's Lunchbox. Avicoli's, big time shout out to where we do our Liverpool Warriors broadcasts every single month. They're right down the road. You can walk from Liverpool High School to Avicoli's and back in just a few minutes. 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Of course, drink responsibly. And when you come out to Avicoli's for our Liverpool Warriors specials, we cannot wait to see you for our next one. We had a fantastic time with the women's basketball team, and we got some good stuff coming up here at Avicoli's very soon in Liverpool. Great Lakes Honda City, the only place I've gotten my vehicle for over a decade. I've trusted Great Lakes Honda City with servicing my vehicles, as well as finding me the right fit. And I love my gas mileage. I love my heated seats. I love my leather seats. I love my sunroof. And I absolutely, positively love the Honda CR-V. I have had so many for so many years. It is efficient. It is great. It is good on gas mileage. It is safe. My CR-V arguably saved my life a few years back in 2004-ish time, 2005. So many thanks to Honda. Many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, for everything that you do. Go out and visit them today. Find your next ride as lease or buy, new or pre-owned, all at Great Lakes Honda City. And, of course, be sure to tune in for the winning drive coming off of the NFL's title game, proudly presented by Great Lakes Honda City. When I tell you about that, we'll also do one for tomorrow's game between Syracuse and Clemson. And the winning drive for Great Lakes Honda City, proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Honda City. The winning drive here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, of course, goes for the second time this season to Quadir Copeland, who had a winning shot, 94-92. Winning on a goaltend, a shot that went up, that got blocked and or goaltended. They reviewed it, ruled it a goaltend, and the Syracuse Orange win on a goaltended ball that Quadir Copeland had tried to lay up in transition against their most recent opponent, the Louisville Cardinals, at home in the Dome. I asked him if he ever won on a goaltend, and he simply said, nope, but it happened now. Pizza Man. Big time thanks to Pizza Man as well, the home of our Baldwinsville Bees shows all throughout the year, speaking with the student athletes, the coaches, and administration. Many thanks to the wonderful, wonderful Baldwinsville Bees, as well as Al Romano, where I get to do off the rails with Al, who is a teammate, a forever teammate of Tony Dorsett, and a national champion with the Pitt Panthers, coming from Solvay right here in our central and upstate New York community. We've done so much with Rob Drummond, Bruce Williams, Syracuse Orange football alumni, as well as a national champion in Al Romano and the Baldwinsville Bees, all at Pizza Man. Can't wait for the next show coming up very soon. We've also had Cookie, the president of the Beeville Bills backers group, and always have a great time with Mr. Cook, Jeff Cook, speaking on his brother, Andy, giving a tribute to his brother, as well as honoring his passion for the NFL, his passion for sports, and his love for the Buffalo Bills. Mother's Cupboard, where you can go any day of the week from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and get my signature sandwich that I created there with Pete Green. Want to thank the ownership of Pete and Amy and the entire team at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York, for all the wonderful, tireless work that they do. And thank you for letting me have my own sandwich. When you walk in, there's 2 whiteboards that feature the specials at the time. And in between those 2 whiteboards, every single day of the week, is that orange board, which features my Cuse McMother sandwich. And you can get the Cuse McMother today or any day of the week. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and eat it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich anytime you want. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, run by my wonderful, beautiful brother and absolutely incredible family. The Sikowski family, Jimmer Sikowski. Shout out to Betty, shout out to Hunter, shout out to Jack, shout out to Sam, and to all of the wonderful workers, everyone that's been a guest on The Light Between Us, and everything that they do at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay to remind us that God loves you, God cares about you, and doing one good deed a day can change an entire life forever. Just one smile, just one how are you, one my pleasure, one, what do you need? One, how can I help you? Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay has a wonderful combined atmosphere of talented team members who are caring, loving, faithful, and kind. And it is my absolute privilege to work with Chick-fil-A and to work with Jimmer Sikowski in these wonderful locations. So thank you to everybody at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for reminding me every single day that God is alive, God is well, and God is in so many. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the only place outside of my family that I would trust with my little girl Lily. They do a tremendous job. The daycare is there for you, as it says, for the day. And you can call them at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. If you need someone to watch your furry loving friend for the day, that is the number to call. If you need longer term care, if you're going to be going out on vacation or you're renovating the house or whatever you're doing, or you're having the in-laws in and you're like, I just got to have one less distraction in the house, take care of these in-laws and all that stuff. Whatever you got going on in your neck of the woods, you can be sure that Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding will take care of your furry loving friend, but you got to make sure that you call them. You can call the daycare, like I said, at 315-437-7110, and you can call the campground at 315-299-4013, and you do want to call ASAP because they do fill up quick. So you could say, hey, it's a random week in May. Doesn't matter. A lot of people have utilized Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. They're wonderful. We work with them for many years. I love the way that Lorraine is with Lily. I absolutely appreciate their staff, their hard work, and everything that they do. And they're just level and attention to detail and their care. And they don't just take any dog. They go through a whole process. You got to answer questions. Did the dogs receive their shots? There's a temperament thing to make sure that they're not bringing a dog in that's going to cause any other dogs any type of harm or any worry for any dog owners. They don't just take whoever. They do their due diligence and they care. And there's never been a time that Lily's been with them where she hasn't been okay and she hasn't been safe. So if you want to get in, you got to call, and you got to call now. So call 315-437-7110 for the daycare to set up a time for your dog. And for the campground dog boarding, for the longer-term care, 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And, of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with the Dolphins with you Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. First and third Wednesday of each month, you'll find AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, you'll find the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Catch all of this on our YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for our archive of Lemoyne content. Go there, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out our Lemoyne Dolphins playlist. You can also find the Dolphins on wakeupcalldt.com underneath the exclusive partners tab. And for more information on Lemoyne, you can go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. As always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have just stepped into year 3, and I am so excited about everything that we have done, all the opportunities and the relationships we made, and everything that is to come. The Bobcat Buzz coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively all throughout the year, every single month. Men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, baseball, and esports. You will find your Bobcats here on Wake Up Call, and you can find all of our content in our archive by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, hitting the notification bell as well. And you can find our playlist on our YouTube channel, BSC Syracuse Bobcats. You can find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com underneath the exclusive partners tab. And for more information on your amazing Bobcats, student athletes, coaches, and more, you can go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Folks, if you haven't been to a game, we got a lot of stuff coming up here. This coming week, we're going to have the men's and women's basketball teams at home as they finish up their regular season. You do not want to miss a moment of their home games at Allen Hall on the OCC campus. I can't wait to celebrate. I love my time with the Bobcats. Thank you for being so positive and so good to me. Shout out to the Bobcats, and go Bobcat Nation. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, God bless you all. God bless all of the people that are good to you. God bless all the people that are good to me. God bless being out there celebrating the real ones. God bless being a real one. And I hope your annoying moments of the week are less. I hope your real ones are more. I hope you have many people that you can honor as a top dog in your life. I hope you can be a top dog to someone else. And I hope you enjoy the NFL's title game and that you do these prop bets that I created here. You have some fun with those and you make some of your own for San Francisco versus Kansas City. I'm going 31-29 San Fran. Would love to hear where you're going. Send it into the show. You can find us all the time on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, the X, the former Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. And I almost did an impression there. You can find us on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. First things first, go to Instagram. But you can find us on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. I hope you have a beautiful day. Please be safe. Please be nice. Please be kind. Celebrate your blessings. Forget about all them negative things and negative people. Let them go. They don't deserve you. And be the best you can be. Enjoy this wonderful NFL title game weekend. I hope the commercials are great. I hope the previews are great. I hope the game is even better. I hope the singers sing it out. And I hope Usher, please have some special guest appearances. You're in Las Vegas. You got a bunch of people in residency. Have some special guest appearances. Super excited for all of this. Cannot wait. I hope y'all have fun. Shout out to all my San Fran and Kansas City fans out there, including Brandon of Kansas City and Phil and Anthony for San Francisco. I send you all my love. And know that God loves you more than anything. And in God's eyes, you are beautiful, smart, talented, funny, creative, everything. God's got your back. And if you do life with God, I'm going to tell you right now, your life is going to change exponentially. Just say to God, even if you've never said it before, even if you've never talked to God before, just say, God, I love you. I love myself. Come into my life. Heal my pain. Guide me toward you. Guard me from everything that is not you. Show me what I need to see. Help me to know what I need to know. May every dream that I chase be caught. May it be greater than anything I could have ever dreamed of. And may you teach me what true love really is. To really fully understand what true love is all about. and may I find it, and may I give it. God, I love you with everything that I am, and I love you all out there too. I send love to every one of you, strangers and all. We all need some love, so I can send a little bit too, right? You can send a little bit. We all send a little bit. This world changes for the better. God bless you all. Have a good day. Be safe. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You know how we do it here.